We chak mo pu we chak lor we ch ben live ku ni yemen ka juer wan chu ku gad bi yen ka bi wo koitin ku yen ka loy ku pa we ba ke tie ba ke dang ba ka lo share ku below in the network go ko ke koren bi ka ping ano bi dana ngo team yen ben a team tema ke team kana yen ka economic core team kan staff ko ke to on the team wonang tu main gas ko ke bi jam na biak de wo ye ka maya di yongo ya pyap de mai na wo kula twen ye ki yindi pa kan yen ga jati to nang we ku we cha ke mo ku we cha ke lor and we did ka bataw ku team aba bay and from there aba jo yen ke ku ke ka bla twen we cha ga mo we cha ga lor we ki share we cha ga mo. Welcome to TV. We're going to talk about financial literacy tonight, and I welcome you all. Try to share it, please, so you can have it and share it with your friend. This is helpful, and I hope we are going to enjoy it as a community. Before I move on, I'm going to call Benya Tamakich and his team to introduce to you our main guests of the night, Phillips and Nyajuok Tongyik. These two are going to talk with us about the financial literacy, and the team as well. This is the second presentation from them. Kan yenke gul yenke ben ro de akuta. Ne chan bi ko nyot mai na wo kula twen ka ke ka bi wo ka jam tin ye kol ka ka ji ke be karo ko ke ka be jam biag den abi ko gol ko ka bi ko tol ba den fa lu ki share cha ga pin ko kuna era no ko be ko ngi ne mun ter malish na chingi ke ibar ku pieng non ko be ko ni kan ko chin ko to fa ko we cha ke mo ko we cha ke lor an bi dana ngo welcome benyatem.
Ayen man bi daw in chukule jarit ku jola twinda andai ne pin no ben we chukule ku chukulor chemenun chen ma bi daw yelwe ken e ben daro na walk che ben wan golde ye ben top in the tane walk che ben be diak exactly 1 year ago ka bi wo walk che ben bu ko panda be mi ne ben che ben bu ko reduire de chan riak pia da yen ko nyu dol ben chatin so we chu ko ting on ge yang bo ku ka chu ni bla ge no honestly on bi wo ke ne chu ni bu la ra bu che da man do wo tin da man on chi wo ben wo ko bu ko bu ni dol anan ka bo ke ka ra ye yang i ka bo ke ka pia bara juire ka pia de bara kun bara ti de ka ra de so e ke chu ko lo ni da man on ye ko le ka chi yar won we mi ka tui ku jola ko won met ko ama sa Sudanese in general ping ne tong yam wo ka bi wo ka won ran won ping be ping ku lom jam bi na ko ni ku ni ni bi de so what is specific to tui e ka ran be ran ping na tong be na ping the band ro chi wo ben we ko bây giờ chỉ lọ chỉ won nhà là cho quên pin nằm unfortunately là năng coi win chu cái mò là red nó pin nằm có quên walk nữa anh tôi walk cái nào lấy walk nhà là cho red cái này cái job của book lớn này ta này long the way chan pi rồi pin nằm pan thâu walk tin là pi rồi well walk chi pi rồi walk chỉ coi quan thâu junub ama coi thâu village is năng walk cái này cái chi walk phải là bay ran thâu cái walk này có là Sidney Phillips giờ lại nhàn cái our own sister Nyajuok Tongyik ai chu cái lệใน game ที่กระโดด gam บิ๊กก็ไป jam Nyajuok อันนั้นก็วันนี้ก็เช่นก็ lord that in the day เป็นก็ jam tonight ไอ้ lord กูบ่ไปเด้กูยงไอ้นั่นเนี่ยไป jam ก็วอก็ jam บ่กระโดดคนนี้ก็นี่แหละ one of us a practice we veteran in America military. So we really need her information. Then when she rock on ben warut ko nya. Phillips era when she lui kan one of our own nyan kai pa job to what team it but through pa job. U ke ran when she certify she wo ko jam we ku wa ja jam e chan chi wa taw ni lo no. But what can I certify information ne ku yu gam balum amai ki balum in ke den wa gam. But coi chú cái bay ai coi vấn năng ran chiết Phillips Quran vấn năng witness cái đen vấn chơi lối coi cái Phillips certified financial planner so ran vấn na luyện là cái vấn trên certified cho mình ai chỉ dictator cho mình là cái certified lawyer cái ran expert so với coi của cái chỉ bảo lò riết của trả ra bây giờ ran và cho này ta này về ran trên relationship trên wo talking Philip tonight nyan cái apa job de ba mar woi wan cái nhà cái nhà là chỉ thốt đến cái lui và bua der của to life na chỉ wa der cái này cái lối của cái đầu dia cái kun của tui so without further ado nyan cái apa job apa chol or before can na ba job chol in ko na cái tin ba mar ba job introduction Philip la loy Philip ben and then after that cái wob ja cha thế.
I think you said everything. So thank you.
Thank you. Nyan cái ba job yim ba ben yin chu ko le ja ret chan cha wo yin cái ku ko ro pa ne tui ayu ku le ku wa ye tui chẳng đan để thui ye đi của nó ran to cái gì anh cái gì lôi á là bực coi của nó bực là coi như đam anh cái gì ran to cái gì này ran anywhere lui hoặc là ran anywhere you not come across one another human being ai ni it ya de thui ayu ku le nyo da tonight ye ne ga chu wa ye Philip through pa job so welcome nyan ka.
Thank you okay. Good to be here with everybody tonight. My beautiful doubt there's a but
What's that?
And then to be in share like when you're going to tag in. Then Philip then back tag in.
Yes, I sent it to her.
Okay. So
Nyajuok, you got it?
Okay. Philip, you got it? You can share it.
Okay. I will share it. Go ahead.
Okay. So we talk more music. We talk more. We're going to tonight. Greeting to you all. It's good to be with everybody tonight. I'm going to explain my relationship with Philip and how I feel him and how he's here today. Nyajuok to my sister, how he is here today. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for accepting the invitation and come to help our community. We need you all. We need expertise. We need the information that you will give us today. So I'm going to speak in Dinka, and then next I will turn it to Mabir Dao, and then Mabir, you can introduce Philip to start the presentation. So what I can learn you the twin da good to be with you guys tonight. So for like 10 years now or 11 years. And I want for 2 years. I used to be state certified to do lawyer. So one lawyer and for 2 years. Well, there were so many people. It wasn't just one person. It wasn't just him. But what made him special at the end of the lawyer thing. But the question I learned completely. He is so knowledgeable. So now what community that woman what everywhere in all kind of direction. Working life in America can date it. How is it exactly? Kubukulu benefit deeper and you what thing we called home. You what thing for 19, 18, 20 years or more than that. But we still don't understand it. And that's because we don't know where to go or where to get the information. So Gwalen, okay, Rankin, this is where we can get the information. Call a work we're going. Gwachol, Kutie, Gogam. And my team too. Oh my God. You guys are so good, you know. Banyatamake, thank you. One better information, get it now, you know. Can be and oh, let me get down. Okay, let's do it. Nyajuok. And I think the ABC, she did an interview where she explained to everybody how she got in debt and how she got herself in debt. So I wrote under her wall and I say, oh my God, we would love to hear this. Will you be willing to join us one time or one day when we do a show? And she said, absolutely, I will be happy to. And she's here tonight. Thank you so much. So me like what? Call tonight. I be working. Kubuku pay ne can win ke. Rania car ran when she not the pure around when she will a car call. Can I answer the bay tonight? Now the question can be weird, you know exactly on a car. What be the up soon, you know, believe it or not. I know wait every year we are 21. But very soon we'll be a lot 10. When I look what an equine can save can keep over there. Me quiet then I will college now. Now let me go college can it? Cooking a chulo save be alone a buggle alone. So that's why could be war with Tiagba then I won't make a lawyer. Said a chicken and lawyer since 1980. So any questions when you have, don't hesitate. But here and war. Anything on call. But you be chat, so don't do the air cutting a braloy. So why two egg late? My own chat to my Kaylin. 1B or 2 last year, can I choose when they go with this time, book a day with still coronavirus can go cut up. But quite proud, Kajaka egg loy. The care you were to care out. So anti jam too much introduction and galoy. But the way how I met said Nyajuok. So Mabira, what your turn to you.
Thank you, Pajok, for your great commitment to community work and to your work yourself. To those who doesn't know our team here, all of these people are are in the business discipline. Kurt is a business major. Tim is a business major. Pajok as well is a business major in a different discipline. So with that, that's the reason they were put together to make economics core team, because we have so many team within our community. Tonight, they gather all the time to try to research on how people should move on, because this is their job that is delegated to them to take care of the community in this financial part, to advise people and to walk people through the process. Like any other department that we have in the community. Tonight, Pajok used to work with Phillips, like she was saying, and Sid is a person who can reach out and can talk to anybody If you see his resume, you will be amazed. He started in 1980. He's a financial advisor, licensed. And tonight, his license is based, is a fee for service. But tonight, we're not going to get charged. If you call him, he can give you financial advice, but not tax in that part, because all the license are queued toward, they're geared toward what person is doing and what person does. So there are areas that he cannot advise you in case if you are coming to us about taxes, how we're going to, even if he knows, he may not answer that because it is not the side that he's licensed to answer you on. There are other areas though, such as risk, wealth accumulation, and things of that sort. These are the areas of his expertise because he's a financial advisor. He can help you with these areas. And tonight, we welcome him to come and help us with the wealth of knowledge that he accumulated through these years of his work to come and help our community. If you already know this, join us and help. If you don't, try to learn through. Same thing with Nyajuok. Nyajuok is one of our own. She's a military, was a military personnel, now a veteran. She got out of the army. She accumulated a large debt, and she was able to pay that off within 2 years or so. She is another expert. She knows what to do. If her story can help you, she will tell you later on, or tell us how she got this and how she made it through to pay off her debt. Not only her, but most of us, I have tons of loan on my education. Those education loans are not bad, but credit and the other debt, yeah, you got to pay them off at a certain time, or you're going to be in it for quite a long time. So there's maybe Mr. Sid will let us know later on what type of loan do we have, what type of insurance do we have out there, how can we accumulate wealth, how can we keep growing it to become successful. So I won't express it any further, but I welcome Mr. Phillips to give you his background. Go to my wall, go to our community page, and you will read his background from there. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Phillips. Sid, you're most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me here this evening. Let me take a minute, and I want to share my screen. And so just give me a second. Let me get everything. Now, can you see my screen now? I don't see it anymore.
Let me see.
It says I'm sharing. There it is. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do tonight. Let me just put that out of the way. Please interrupt me if you have a question, the leaders, because I can't see anything else. I have 3 screens up, so I'm just looking at my main 2 here. What I want to do is, I appreciate the invitation. At heart, I'm an educator, okay? I enjoy educating people. And I wrote an article not too long ago that an educated prospect is the best client. And so what we're going to talk about today is create a blueprint for financial success. Oops, went too far. Hold on. There we go. Okay. He's explained who I am. I'm Sid Phillips. A lot of clients and all my young family, my grandkids call me Papa Sid. So if that's easy, that's fine too. I'm a certified financial planner. And just to stop and help you understand what designations mean, you'll see a bunch of letters behind my name. That either means I'm old or fairly educated, okay? So it's a good thing. A certified financial planner takes on a special role in advising people. So if you see the CFP, that means that person has a fiduciary responsibility to provide you the best financial advice for your situation, okay? In other words, I have a fiduciary responsibility to put your needs ahead of my needs in all situations. So it's a good thing to have, and it helps people understand that you're there to help them. I have to put this out there. There are products with the certified financial planner. I have to disclose that I have conflicts of interest, and that sometimes my advice warrants a product to be sold, and I receive compensation from that. And if you ever want to know, ask me how I'm paid. I will be more than willing to express that and help you understand. There is a participant workbook that goes along with this presentation. It's not available because of the situation that we have right now. But what I'm offering to you, at the bottom, you see my email address. If you would like this workbook, and the email address is going to show up several more times. If you would like the workbook, just email me. If you email me, I'll send you the workbook. If you ever have any questions, you can always email me back, and we can discuss it, or we can schedule a time that's more on a personal basis. So what we're going to talk about today is purpose. What are we doing here? What are we going to talk about? Why are y'all spending your time to come to this video? Well, we have a process. I want to introduce you some basic financial concepts and educate you on those concepts a little bit, because we don't have a whole lot of time. And then finally, the payoff for you, what's in it for you, is deciding to address your financial house that gets you one step closer to your personal financial security. You should all give yourselves a pat on the back for being here tonight. It's a good thing. It shows that you're committed to building a stronger, more secure financial future for yourself. And it's not only for yourself, but it's also for your family. So I want you to think of your finances as a house. We all know how a house is built, okay? And this concept is called create a blueprint for financial success. Because if you really think about it, it is building that house. You've got to have plans. You've got to have a blueprint. And then you got to lay a solid foundation. Have you ever tried to build a house and build the roof first? It kind of doesn't work, does it? So you got to build up from the ground. Start with is that foundation. And so we call that foundation cash flow, net worth. They're two key components in building your financial strategy. Because we get, to get where you want to go, you got to know where you are today. You got to know your starting point. Have you ever heard someone say, I have too much month at the end of my money? Yeah, that means that our outflow and our income is not working out, is it? But once we get squared away, we'll move into risk management and making sure you understand all the uncertainties that we have. Then we'll talk about your future and college planning, retirement planning. And once everything else is taken care of, we'll talk about true financial freedom. And that's when we start accumulating wealth. Today's session is a very, very basic session. I won't be discussing wealth accumulation in any significant detail. Further, I won't be able to delve into any great depth on any of the other ones because we're trying to give you a more of a high level look at this. So what we're going to do today is give you the big picture of how the elements work together and how it fits in maybe your personal situation. Whether you choose to do that by yourself or you want help from a professional is really up to you. Our first step along this is that cash flow and the net worth. Now, what is cash flow and net worth? It's really not that difficult. Cash flow is, you can see it, it's household income, what you have coming in, your spouse's income, any other sources of income, what's going out the door, expenses, rent, your mortgage, transportation, school costs, eating, those types of things. And then that equals your cash flow. That is how much money you have left over at the end of the month. So that term, too much month at the end of the money, that means that we don't have our cash flow under control. So what we try to help you do is look at that and see how to manage that. I think our next speaker is going to address that very well tonight. The next area, is our risk management. What is risk management when it comes to finances? Well, life is risky business. You need to prepare for unexpected or unknown things. And there's basically, 6 elements in our risk management. One is life, health, auto, home, disability, and long-term care. But before we get there, the one thing I want to address is our emergency fund. Okay, what is an emergency fund? Well, it is a fund set for emergency savings, and you have to decide how much and what is best for your needs. Most financial professionals recommend it to be about 3 to 6 months of your expenses. This is not money for education, retirement. It's not a Christmas club account. This money is set aside strictly if you were to lose your job, become disabled, have a pandemic, you can't work, you got large unexpected bills. It's for those types of things. You might set up a savings account. They're very easy to do today. And you label that savings account emergency fund. And you put money into that particular account until you've accumulated enough for your particular needs. There is another type of risk that we need to manage, and that's life insurance. We are not going to live forever. We are going to die. Statistically, we're probably going to die in our 70s or 80s. In some situations, we have premature death. Life insurance is for those types of things. And they're basically 2 different types of life insurance. There's group insurance, which is owned by the company or your employer, but provides some coverage to the employees. Usually your insurance company pays all or most of this coverage. Sometimes it's a small amount. Sometimes you could get multiples of your salary. It's good insurance. There's nothing wrong with it. And I tell people, get as much of that as you can get and you can afford. Well, it provides you with basic coverage, but since it's owned by the company, you have no control. So the company can change it at any times, or if you leave that company or you retire from that company, normally that group insurance is going to go away and you won't have it anymore. The other type is what you personally own. We call it personally owned life insurance. It typically requires some kind of underwriting, where group insurance, you don't have to answer medical questions. Personally owned life insurance, you've got to answer some medical questions, but you control it. You control the amount, you control the premium, you control everything. There are 2 types of life insurance out there. It's term insurance and it's permanent insurance. Can't get into great details right now, but both permanent and term insurance are controlled by you. You control the coverage. You control how long and how much you want to pay for it. And this type of insurance is determined and really placed suitable for you. In other words, there's a series of questions that I go through to help determine how much life insurance someone really needs. Because I don't want to give you too much or too less. I don't want you to be paying too much for it. So it allows us to individually tailor it to your needs. Health insurance. Health insurance out there it's expensive, okay? But I want you to understand, in most health insurance situations, the kind that you've got through your employer, they're normally paying about $28,000. Now let me rephrase that. Together, y'all are paying about $28,000 per employee a year. The employer pays around $16,000 of those costs, and the employee pays about $12,000. Okay, and it depends. If you're not paying $1,000 a month for your insurance, it's usually that kind of ratio. Normally your employer is paying more than you are for that coverage. It's something that we call the hidden paycheck that you get from your employer by all the benefits that they provide you. That's another subject for another day. You also have to take care of that risk management of disability. Disability can strike to anybody at any time. It could be an illness, it could be an injury. You get in a car accident, you break your leg, you can't go to work, you can't do your job. How are you going to replace your wages? Where's that money going to come from to help with your daily, weekly, monthly expenses? Sometimes you can get short-term or long-term disability from your employer. That's always a good thing. Sometimes you'll pay for it. Sometimes they'll pay for it. But it's a good benefit to have for the employees. I encourage it to a lot of my business owners that I advise. Long-term care. Most people think of this as long-term care insurance, but you got to understand the way that I ask my clients is, how have you planned for a long and extended care event? How have you planned for an extended care event? That's long-term care, okay? If I have two people turning 65 right now, I got a 70% chance that one of them is going to need some kind of long-term care services in the future. And so we want to plan for that risk. We want to know it and understand it, because it can wipe out wealth in a heartbeat. When you're paying $5,000 or $6,000 on a monthly basis to be in a nursing home facility or somebody to take care of it at your home, it can go through your finances pretty quick. Unlike traditional health insurance, long-term care is designed to cover long-term expenses. Health insurance doesn't cover this. Medicare doesn't cover this, okay? Take that back. It covers about 20 days, maybe 100 days. But normally when you go into a long-term care facility, or you needing these, you're going to have an extended stay for longer than 90 days, okay? College funding. Now we've got the risk management out of the way. We can talk about putting aside some money for educating our kids. You've got the foundation. So let's determine how to accumulate money for education. There are many products. There are many ways that you can put money aside for your children's education. You also might have help from the grandparents, or your child might get a scholarship. So there are different ways that you can plan for that college education. As y'all were discussing earlier, some of you have some education debt. So in hindsight, we wish we'd have planned for that a little bit better. But you're in this situation, we just have to work through it at this time. We got retirement planning is our next step. Retirement planning, there are two main categories here. You have qualified plans and you have personal savings or non-qualified plans. For today's purposes, we're just going to talk in general about these types of qualified plans. We're not going to get into too much about Social Security, but you've got qualified plans, which are run by the government. They control how much we put in. They control when we can take it out, because if you take it out too soon, you get hit with a penalty. But you do get tax-deferred growth in that. So you're putting money aside. In some situations, employers will match part of your contribution, and so that helps you get more money. I always say, hey, if you can get a match, let's say they match 1% of your income when you put money in, well, then I would say that's one way to get 100% return on your money. So let's use that. Qualified plans are like IRAs, 401ks, 457 plans, 403b plans. So there are many different types of qualified plans out there. Just understand how you can use them to the best of your ability and the best for you long term. With personal savings, essentially you are the driver in this situation. In most cases, these savings are funded with after-tax dollars. With personal savings, you can choose to be aggressive or conservative. There's a profile that everybody has when they invest money. You can be very aggressive, like you want to make a lot of return, or you can be very conservative, and your thought process at that point is, you know, it took me a long time to earn this money. I don't want to lose it, but I want to get a little bit more than what I'm getting at the bank in the CD, which is at, you know, below 1%. So you might be conservative. We go through that process to help you determine what kind of profile you have, what kind of investor profile you have. There are many things that you can do on a savings basis to set up a personal savings account. You can do annuity, savings vehicles. There's many investment vehicles that we can use. Now, we come to our fourth level of our financial house. Now we can put the roof on. Wealth accumulation. As I mentioned earlier, one of our objectives today is to understand the benefits of having the financial habit of saving first and spending last. Well, everything we've done so far in building our financial house is to help you achieve this goal. When you take charge of your financial house by looking at your cash flow, your net worth, preparing for those risks, setting aside money for college and retirement, you may begin to start accumulating wealth, and you will experience a higher level of financial freedom. Let me share some interesting facts with you. According to a report by Well-Being of U.S. Households in 2019, if you can read that a little bit at the bottom of the thing, you can see where I'm quoting from. It said that among retirees, 50% are saving for retirement through a 401k or other defined contribution plans. Don't let those big words it's all that I just said. Among non-retirees, over 50% are saving through their 401k, other contributions, and 25% of non-retired adults said they have no retirement savings or pension plans, maybe other than Social Security. And nearly 3 out of the 10 adults are either unable to pay their monthly bills or they're having a tough time on a regular basis. Where do you fit in here? Challenges for our savings. According to another study by the Employee Financial Wellness Survey, 79% of millennials, almost half of the Gen X adults, and 39% of baby boomers have saved less than $50,000 for retirement. You know, many of you out there expect.
Mabida?
Yes. Let me rephrase that.
I need to ask a question while he's going through. Is there a way to?
Are we doing okay?
Yeah. He want to ask a question.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Phillips. I was trying to not interrupt, but I need to ask you a question on the topic of education fund.
Education plan, yep.
Yeah. So let's say if someone is saving money on a monthly basis for their children education, is it a good idea to take that money away from wherever you're saving them now and put them into an investment market?
Okay, so what you're asking me is if you're already saving money for college education, is it a good idea to take that money that you're saving for college education and start putting it in investments? Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, you're going to hate this answer. I'm sorry. It depends on your situation, and it's difficult sometimes to pull a little piece of a financial puzzle out and say, this is good or bad. If you have it goes back to what your goals are. If you think, let me give you a simple one. If you think your kid's going to get a scholarship because they're smart, they're doing good grades, they got a real good chance of getting a scholarship, then I would say yes. If you think your child, no offense to anybody, is dumber than a stone and is not going to go to college and is going to go get a good job, maybe as a welder, And those are good jobs. Matter of fact, welders are making close to $100,000 in my area. I'm in a shipbuilding area. They make great money without a college degree. So if your child falls into that type of scenario, maybe it's a good idea. And it depends on what kind of savings plan you have, because some savings plan out there is, you know, let's say you got 3 kids, and in one situation, this kid, the first child who has the savings plan, is he got or she got a scholarship. Well, in some kind of savings accounts, you can actually transfer the beneficiary over to the next child. And so you only need one savings account, even though you've got like three kids. And it depends on how much they use of that account. So I don't want to dodge your question, but it's really, I'll put it in another way. If you don't have an emergency fund, I would say absolutely stop the educational funding, build an emergency fund first. And then once you have that done, you can go back to putting money into college education. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank
There are so many variables here, and I have one challenge because I hold a fiduciary responsibility to you, is I need to know you before I make any recommendations. So I'm not making any specific recommendations right now to anybody. I'm saying these, if you're in this situation, this could be something that you could do. Okay. And please, if you got other questions, I'm going to hang around as long as you need me. I'll answer any and everything I can. I got about 3 or 4 more slides. Let me finish so we can move on to that young lady. Okay. How many of you? Go ahead.
Oh, nobody has anything. Go ahead.
How many of you out there are expecting a pension in retirement or something of those nature? Pension is something that you work for 30 years at one place. They take your age and how much you've worked there, and they pay you money. So it's all on that company's balance sheet to pay you out. Those are rarer than hen's teeth right now. There are not many of them out there. Now, how many of you out there that say, hey, I've got money coming in on Social Security, and that's going to be everything I need for retirement? Maybe not a good idea to count on that. You know, you're going to have a stool with 3 legs on it. Pension or your 401k. On the other side is going to be probably Social Security, depending on how old you are and if the program stays around. And the third leg is going to be what you save on a personal basis. So that's why we're trying to move forward with accumulating more money. But why is it so hard to accumulate money? You know, having a strategy is very, very important. You have to have a plan. You have to write this plan out, and whether it's paying off debt or accumulating money, you need to actually have a plan. You need to have that plan written out. The toughest thing we find is committing, or the challenge you have is committing to the plan. Most people don't getting tongue-tied. Most people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. There are 2 types of mindsets out there. Spend first, save last. Save first, spend last. Now, up to this point, which person were you? I challenge you to sit down and think about that question. Do you spend first and then save what's left over? Or do you save a certain amount first? And you know what? It can be $10 a payday. All you have to do is start committing to it. So do you spend first, or do you save last? Or do you save first and spend last? Obviously, this is the better choice. How much money do you have? Now, there's no one around. You're all sitting in your own little special place. I'm in my office, so I forgot to turn on the light, so it's a little dark. I didn't realize that until it got dark. But all y'all are there. How much have you actually saved? You think about it. You make so much on an annual basis. What if we just took a small amount? If you have difficulty saving, take 1% this month. Next month, take 2%. The next month, take 3%. Once you get to 10%, just level it off. Do that for a year. Okay? That will build that emergency fund. That'll help you start on that way to accumulating more money. Okay. Let's review our concept here. I've taken you through the levels of a financial house. Level 1 is the foundation, getting a realistic picture of where you are today by examining your cash flow and your net worth. Next, move to the next one, prepare for risk. Manage your emergency savings. Then 3 is college funded retirement planning. Once you got the first 2 levels taken care of, you can move to the second or the third. Then the final one is, how do we start to accumulate money? Now, I've done this in a very short period of time, so I want to just finish off. If you've got questions, I'll be around. I'll answer them. What you want to do here is prepare your budget. I didn't mention legal documents, and I'm not a lawyer, so I can't get into great detail. But I will tell you this, if I build a financial house and we don't have legal documents to support that, legal documents, will, trust, power of attorney, those types of things, then my house is a little bit rickety. It's not set up right. I have to have the financial and the legal to really make a sound foundation. I wish I had an evaluation form that I could send you. I don't right now. Please comment. If I helped you, that's great. If you need more information, let me know. And here is, again, I want to thank everybody for allowing me to come on. But here's my email and my website. If you need or want to have a question on a more personal basis, email me. If you want the workbook, email me. I'll send it out to you. No obligation, no cost, nothing like that. There's no charge for this. And if you want further conversation, in my email is a link to my calendar. So if you want to have a Zoom meeting or just a phone call, you can actually go right to my calendar, find a time that works for you, and that'll work for me. Again, I want to thank everybody for having me. I appreciate this time. Best of luck to everybody. If I can do anything for you, just let me know.
Thank you, but we are not done yet. So we're going to revise this a little more from the bottom up. Wealth accumulation, college fund / retirement planning, risk management, and cash flow / net worth. So when we talk about this, wealth accumulation might have different ways of accumulating wealth. One could be your investment, right? The other one could be your job. And when you're coming to saving first, you spend last. Can you explore this a little bit? Elaborate on that.
Saving first and spending last? Yes. You pay yourself first. Most times people sit down, they get a paycheck, they go look at their bills. What's due now? Oh, I guess I need to write a check, or I got to go online and pay it online. No. You look at your check. Now, there's 2 ways to pay yourself first. One is through your deductions to your 401k. Mm-hmm. If you are doing that, that's great. But that money is kind of tied up. You can't access it. So you still need to set aside some money for emergencies, okay? So when you get a paycheck, I don't care if it's $10, you put it aside. If it's, you put it in an envelope until you got enough to open a savings account. Or, most times today, online banking, You can start on a savings account with literally nothing. You save your money first. You spend what's left. So if I said, "Hey, you got a paycheck for $1,000. Take $10, put it in the savings. Now you can spend $990 to pay your bills." Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So back to, I'm not going to take away time from the rest of the team, but I do have a few questions to elaborate on all four that you talk about.
Okay.
So another one is college funding and retirement. So when you talk about college funding, are you talking about us who are still, or are we talking about kids?
Are we talking about us or the kid? I'm more specifically, when I talk about college funding, I'm talking about your kids. Okay.
Kids.
Now, if you get specific into a specific product, many of you might have heard what is called the 529 plan. And that's what I was alluding to before, because with a 529 plan, you can set it up for your kid. If the kid does not use it all, if your child does not use it all, you can change the beneficiary. The beneficiary could be you, and you could spend it on your expenses. Okay. You can actually repay up to $10,000 in a loan for educational purposes that you've taken out before. Now, in some situations, that's not going to be enough to, do a dent in a large educational loan, but it's mainly for kids.
Okay, so that's settled there. With the risk management, there's a lot involved in the risk management. In this area, the insurance is part of it. Life insurance, car insurance, and house or what have you, any of that. So when we're talking about risk management, what are we really trying to do here? Are we serving it for ourselves, our kids, our tomorrow's life? What is it that is involved in the risk management here?
Well, it depends on the area. Like auto and home, you don't have much of a choice. If you own a home, you've got to have, and you have a mortgage, you've got to have homeowners insurance in case your house burns down. If you drive a car, you have to have life insurance, or you have to pay, you have to have car insurance, or you have to pay that fee for uninsured motorists. Now, I don't do auto and home. I don't handle those risks. For life insurance, you buy life insurance because you love somebody and you want to protect them. So when you buy life insurance, you're trying to protect your family, your kids, your wife. If you're a business owner and you have employees and something were to happen to you and you're the rainmaker or the moneymaker of the business, then you buy it to protect your employees. So with life insurance, you're buying it to protect that risk. Now, there are living benefits to life insurance. We don't have enough time to go into that, but what if you don't die? Most likely, most of us are not going to die until later on, but you don't die prematurely. Well, there are some living benefits that you can have with life insurance. Okay. Does that answer your question, Simon?
Somehow, yes. My takeaway from here is when you buy life insurance, you love someone. In case, if anything happened, then these people are covered. If you have business, you got to do that. If you have employees, you got to do that. And that's the great protection for the loved one and the people that you work with, including the family. My final goes back to cash flow and net worth, which is the foundation of the wealth. That's how you begin. Elaborate on that. How can we inject this, and how can we save with net worth cash flow to aid?
Cash flow, you need to look. Cash flow is pretty simple. What coming in, the inflow, and what's going out, the outflow. If you're in a negative cash flow, that simply means you're spending You're a spend first and save later person. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have enough money to pay all your bills. So
Right.
cash flow has to be, you have to analyze that. Sometimes it's sitting down with your checkbook or your Quicken or whatever you're using to manage your how you pay things, and seeing what you're paying over the last month or 3 months. It's a budget analysis. How am I spending the money that's coming in? We want a lot of things. We need very few. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you feeding? Your wants or your needs? You know, you don't need a 5-bedroom house that has 4 baths to fit you and your wife. You want that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need that Cadillac with those new shiny wheels. You want that. You can go out and buy a Prius that'll get you across town and do everything you need. Okay. Or you have to have. So
Right.
where are we? I see a lot of smiles. Where are we on that need and want? Okay. So you really have to think to get control of that cash flow situation. And I think our next speaker is going to really hone in on that. Okay. Because she's going to tell you how to get out of debt. And that's what most people are battling right now, is they've been a spender and not a saver.
Mm-hmm.
That help?
It sure did. Thank you so much, guys. If you have any question, including yourself, Nyajuok, you guys can go ahead.
It's James here. I don't know if you can hear me, Simon.
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Sidney. I really enjoyed your presentation. I think it helped a lot of folks here.
You're welcome.
So thank you for that. You pretty much went on some of the things you may not be able to get into the detail based on your role of work. But I kind of want to ask you about our story as folks that are listening to this presentation, is that we did not come from an area where we learn, how to manage money. We kind of like learn on our own. So the majority of us now are parents, and I want to know from your experience the importance of talking to our kids about money. How early do you think folks should do that? Because I think even if you have a college education and you don't have an idea of how to manage money, that kid is not going to be able to function or manage their money. So that's the number one. And then the other thing would be, given that you have over 30 to 40 years of work experience as a financial planner, what are some of the mistakes or obstacles that you kind of like ran into working with people that you can help, at least talk to us about, so we don't have to repeat those mistakes again as we plan on managing our finance? This question is pretty much to, I guess, help some of our guys or folks that are listening. Thank you.
We don't have enough time for the last question, Guy. James, that's a tough one. Let me answer the first one. When do you start talking to your kid, okay, about finances? Well, when do they start looking at money, okay? When you go to the store, how do you pay for things, okay? Do you take out cash? Do you pay for a credit card? A friend of mine told me one time, her mom and dad said, well, we can't afford that. And she looked at her mom and dad and said, you still have checks in your checkbook. What do you mean you can't afford it? And she was a young child. And I'll give you my personal experience. When I started giving my son an allowance, okay, I wanted him to start to understand and appreciate money. And so I'd say, okay, here's what we're going to do. You're going to get a certain amount, and I'll make it up, $10 a week. $5 has to go into your savings envelope, and $5 you can do anything you want with. Okay? And so as I would give him that money, he would stick it into his savings envelope, and then he'd go out and spend the rest. That way, I taught him how to put money aside, pay himself first. Okay. Today, my son is very successful, and he's got a good handle on money. Okay. I promise you, just starting out with something that simple, get him a credit card. Okay. They're going to go to school. They're going to go into college. You get a credit card with a $500 limit, no more. Okay. And you teach him that or her that's your limit. Okay. You've got to pay that back. You're going to go in, got to earn some money. You got to do something, but whatever you put on that credit card, because what will happen is they'll go and buy a pizza. They'll go and buy some beer that you don't know about. They'll go and buy sodas. They'll go and buy all this stuff. And then suddenly it's $300 or $400 on their credit card. And they're going, Dad. No, that's your problem, not mine. So you got, my phrase is you got to let them skin their knees. Nyajuok, she can tell you she skinned her knees really bad. And she figured it out quickly. And I applaud her. But you just have to manage that experience and help them through it, because you're the parent. They're not going to believe anything that you say until they've actually experienced. Because I had my son tell me one time, Dad, would you stop letting me skin my knees? I think I've learned. Just tell me, and if I ever tell you no, just remind me that I told you to do this, because that was my way of teaching. Unless they feel the pain, they don't remember. Long answer to a short question, but I hope I got it. Now, the other one, the mistakes. Oh my God. She's going to address the mistakes that I see most often. People have racked up a ton of debt. And the first thing is we got to get the debt paid down so we can start doing the other stuff. It's managing. If you get the other things in check, like you got your cash flow, you understand how that works, you got your emergency fund, those other things will come along as easy as they can. Okay. It'll take you some time, but managing debt is the biggest obstacle I run across a lot of times. Is that good, James?
That was great. Thank you.
Okay.
Sid,
Yes.
can you tell me how do I know I have enough coverage when it comes to life insurance? How do I know that whatever I have is enough to take care of my family if I'm gone?
I'll give you two ways to do it real quickly. One is take your income. If you don't have kids or, they're sort of moving up and out of the situation, it's about 10 times your income. If you do have kids, it's 20 times your income. The second way to figure out how much life insurance you need is simply to add up all the debt you have, your house, your cars, everything. And that's just a debt elimination. How much would it pay off? And the question you're really asking is, how do I leave my family in the world they've got accustomed to? And so that takes a little bit more than a short 2-bit answer that I'm giving you right now. But you really have to ask, because it's like, okay, if you are not here tonight or tomorrow, let's say yesterday you became a hood ornament on a Mack truck. You're not here. Your income's not coming in. Well, you sit down and you ask, what amount of money would my family need if I'm not here? Do they need my whole paycheck or part of my paycheck? How many years would they need that? So that's a simple way to answer that question. Is that okay?
Absolutely, yes. That is really good. Thank you. When it comes to 529 plan? Is it just only one, or there are more than one? One type.
Can you have more than one?
Are there two types, or is it just only one type of 529?
Oh, a 520, yeah, they're only, it's basic one type. Different states have different 529 plans. But it's just the state and the mutual fund company that's supporting that. There's not a big difference from one to the other. So it's more governed, but maybe by the state that you're in than anything else. But you can have several 529 plans if you had several kids, which a lot of my clients do, or you can just have one that you put a lot of money in, and it's the firstborn, and then we get them through. And it depends on how far they are in age, because we can only have one beneficiary for one 529 plan. So we want to make sure that we got money for everybody.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I believe we will leave it there, and we will have another time follow-up question if we do. If we need you, and we probably won't let you go in the near future. We'll bring you back, and we'll have a follow-up question. Anything that will help us, like Kurt was saying, James, that we are starting on our own. We need mentors in the community, and we need people who can advise us how to manage money. Our background is a little different, and we are first generation in the United States. Like you were saying, with Nyajuok will educate us much about this. She figured it out herself, and she will help us. How did she figure it out? Are we able to do what she did? Can we manage to limit our expenses? Can we pay ourselves first and know exactly what we can put away for tomorrow? Any of that. I have a question here in the screen. Somebody has, is there a terminal illness or trauma insurance in there? That means out there. That was a question one of our guys has. I don't know if you can answer that briefly, and then we'll bring Nyajuok and we'll continue from there. And thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. There are companies that sell like a cancer policy, not a trauma policy. I've never seen one of those where if you have a major accident, usually the one that I've seen the most is like a cancer policy. And it's issued by more of a health insurance company. And you've got to, you got to determine if the money is well spent with the statistics that you're going to get some kind of cancer. Okay. So it's kind of up in the air, but there are insurances out for individual illnesses.
I see. Thank you, Sid. Thank you so much. You're welcome to hang around, and if you have anything to do, you can exit when you want. And we're going to go to Nyajuok. We've been here for 1 hour already, and we'll give her another time for her to answer the question. She will talk about her life story, how she did what she did, and we will go on to have some question. Most of her experience about her life and how she becomes so successful. She's still in the field. She's a young lady, and we'll educate some of our peers because we're first generation. Most of them are here in the United States, or what do you call this generation? Millennial, right? Majority of us are in that. But how do we overcome this as a first generation? And we have a lot of responsibilities that are way limit our responsibilities for ourselves. We have so much people who depends on us. How can we put up with this and still come out clean? Nyajuok is a great example, and you have given us insight about the 4 areas of blueprint for financial success. Thank you for that. And Nyajuok, you have our great appreciation. The community will appreciate you for taking your time. You were supposed to travel today, but you took time to spend night in New York so you can talk to us. That's a great contribution, and we appreciate that. we wish you the best in your trouble tomorrow. And I hope tonight we're going to have a very, very great night with you. You've been to the Army, which is in the United States. You're from South Sudan, from Half an Isle, if I got that right. You are a mother of 3. You got yourself out of 87 debt. I can go on and on, but I will leave the rest to you and let us know what exactly did you do? Did any of these that Sid educate us about help you to help yourself?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mabir. Can you hear me?
You're very clear. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for having me, everybody. Sid, you did a great job. I have learned a lot, and thank you for that presentation. And yes, as I share my life story, I hope you guys see that everything that Sid talked about, I have went through it, okay? And I'm still going through it. And there is actually a systematic approach to it that I am applying right now in my life, steps, and I will mention some of those steps. And Mabir, I did not do this alone. I had tons of help. I have a lot of mentors that have mentored me through my life. So I will not take credit just by myself. I'm just a very good listener, and I like to personally grow. So I'm always looking for a way to make myself better, whether it's financially, in my relationship, as a mother. So I'm always listening to somebody that's willing to teach me. So I had a lot of people that teach me through or taught me through all of it. I had actually had a financial advisor since 2012. Okay, so and yeah, so to begin, my name is Nyajuok Tongyik. For all the viewers out there, thank you for joining us, and we welcome you. So again, like Mabir said, I'm from Upper Nile, from South Sudan. I'm from Noor tribe, from Nyajuok clan. And I've been in America now for 22 years. My family moved here when I was 14, and I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. So that's my hometown, okay? In 2009, I graduated from nursing school, and I joined Army as a nurse. So I did all my career in the military. This past year, June 29th of 2020, I retired through the Army Wounded Warrior. I was medically discharged from the Army due to a illness. And now I'm 100% veteran, and I'm enjoying my retirement. So currently I am in New York City. I've been working out here at NYU, the New York University Hospital, as a contractor. And my contract job is done. I'm going back to my kids in San Antonio tomorrow, God willing. So this is a pleasure, and I'm honored to be here. I love talking about finances, and as we know, our community lacked this part of knowledge because a lot of us did not grow up in families where money was a conversation. Money alone, even in America, is a topic that families don't talk about often. But we're from South Sudan, where we grew up with cows and farms. We really don't know anything about money. So most of us are teaching themselves, where our friends are teaching us, or the society is teaching us by the hard way, really, debt, right? Because that's what the society is teaching, is how to use credit cards, which I found myself in. So to talk today, I'm going to talk to you guys about how I got in debt and how I got out of debt and how I'm doing right now. So that's going to be my topic. I do not have slideshow, like said. I'm not that organized, but I'm hoping it will still make sense to you. So from the top, again, I have been in financial world for quite some time. I've had a job since I was 14, and I've worked all my life. And I'm always debt free. So I never had debt because I joined the Army. Army paid for my student loan. I never even have student loan. But in 2016, I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And in that book, I learned that I need cash flow. And one of the things they talk about in the book is owning a real estate. So I went out and took class on real estate investment, all of that stuff. And I purchased my first home in 2017 for investment. So that was actually my second home. I fixed it. And when I fixed it using a credit card. I had a really good credit story. I have like 800 credit score, which I later learned that it's a definition of you're good in debt, paying back debt, you know? So the better your credit score is, it just means that you pay back loans. So when I purchased that home, I fixed it using a credit card. And I used 2 of my credit cards, and those credit cards were $60,000 that I spent on fixing this home. The home sat on the market for over a year. I lost all the return on investment that I was supposed to have, and I lost all my money that I put in. So alone, when it got sold, I had $60,000 already in debt that I couldn't pay off. In 2019, my family went to Kenya to go visit family. We went there and we put $10,000 on credit card. We put it on my credit card, and now my debt increased by $10,000. At the same time, I had a car that I had purchased for 11 years, the same car. My daughter crashed it, and I decided to go out and get a car. So I purchased that car at $19,000. So add that on top of that. Now my debt is over $80,000, right? Like 87. So that was the debt I found myself in September of 2019. So that was my turning point. September 2019, my girlfriend came to, she's in the Air Force. She's a nurse as well. She went to San Antonio for a course, and she stopped at my house, and we were talking. And she said, you know, you're really good with money. You do really well financially. You just don't have a system. I think if you have a system, a systematic approach, you would do really well with your money. She said, I took this class. It's called Financial Peace University through Dave Ramsey. I think you would be really interested if you can take this class. I said, okay, where did they offer this class? She told me through churches, and it's free. So I went online. Like I said, I'm very open-minded. So I went online and I looked up the course, and it was offered through one of my local church. So I went and took that class. It was a 9 weeks class, once a week for 9 weeks, 2 hours per day. And in that course, they showed me the steps I can use to build wealth, to get out of debt, have emergency funds, build wealth, and all the things that Sid talked about, like risk mitigation. So after I took that class, at that point, I was already in the Army transitional program, which means I was being prepared for board evaluation to be assessed whether I am fit for duty or I need to go home. Okay. So when I took that class, now it was December of 2019, and I was told by the military that I am going to be going home, and I have 4 to 6 months before I leave the Army. At that point, I had been in the military for 10 years. I was a captain, very high captain, so I was getting really good pay. Okay, when I say good pay, I was getting good pay. So I went back on my paperwork. I wrote down, I said, okay, if the Army decide that I'm going to leave with 50%, you know, whatever they gave me would be enough to take care of me and my kids without having to worry about working if I don't have the debt. But I had to get rid of this debt, because if I'm leaving the Army with $87,000 in debt, I would have to get a job. And at that moment, my mental stability was not well enough to get a job. I was struggling with PTSD, depression, and I was going through a divorce. I had separated from my husband for 2 years already at that point. So I was going through a lot of emotional, mental health problem. I was in crisis, literally, I was in crisis. So I knew that I need to get rid of this debt so I can have a peace of mind and just stay home and take care of myself and my kids with whatever the Army decided to give me. So I made a goal. I wrote down on my sheet and I said, I need to pay this debt off, and this debt will be paid off before I leave the Army. Again, I didn't know when I was going to leave the Army, but I wrote it down. I said, I'm going to pay it off before I leave the Army. So in the class, they taught me about budgeting. Okay, so this is a very important thing. And this was one of the big things that I took from that class that helped me get out of this debt. So I learned about budgeting, and they introduced me to an app called Every Dollar. So I used that app, and I budget every single day. Literally, I would look in my app, and I give myself $100 a month. And you guys, I was making literally almost 15 grand, but out of that 15 grand, I only give myself $100 to spend on myself, whether it's a makeup, to buy earrings, or to just purchase on something that I want, because I still want to buy something for myself. But everything else was going on my bill or going to debt. That was the plan. And I knew that if I stick to this, it's temporary, but I need to stick to it. Something also happened at the same moment, and this is the importance of making a plan. When you make a plan, you make a goal, you write it down. The universe kind of conspire around and help you reach your goal. So what happened was I wrote it down, and I was in a class, a resume class in the military. They were preparing me for getting out, and one of the class I had to take was how to write a resume so I could, look for a job. So I was writing a resume, and my girlfriend, one of my friends, she was my employees. I was a nurse manager on the unit. She texted me and she said, "Hey, Nyajuok, the local university in San Antonio is looking for contractors, and it's a 20 weeks contract. You would work 2 days a week, and they will pay you $63 an hour." I'm like, okay, I can do that. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can do Friday night, Saturday night, or Saturday and Sunday night, and still do the Army Monday to Friday. So I applied for this right away, submit my resume. They didn't even interview me. They just gave me the job. So January 16 of 2020, I started this contract. Well, we knew in March, COVID hits. So they extended my contract. Okay, they extended my contract, and they allowed us to work more than 2 days. So I was doing Army therapy. I was going to therapy Monday to Friday, 8 hour a day. Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night, I would go work night shift at the hospital, local hospital. Need to pay this off. All right. So I did that on June 29th of 2020. I retired from the Army. By July 1st, 2 days later, I paid off my $87,000. 2 days after I retired from the military. So I met my goal. I met my goal. And I know one of the important things is writing it down, having a plan, but mostly it was the mindset I had from the beginning that I need to be debt free by the time I leave the Army. And it happens. And I believe in having a vision board. I believe in writing things down, and I believe God help us in whatever capacity that we want to do, provided it's good for us. So that was my debt-free journey. One thing I did right after I wrote that, I wrote another one on my board. I said, I need to share my debt-free journey with the world. And I put it again on my dream board. I have 3 dream boards in my house. So I put it on there that I needed to share my debt-free journey. So I went on, one of the groups that I'm in is Dave Ramsey Baby Steppers. And baby steppers are that systematic approach that I mentioned at the beginning. And here they are. So the first thing is, so there's 7 baby steps. The first one is having emergency funds. Sid talked about this. And in the program, Dave said, this is like a minimum emergency fund, $1,000. You put $1,000 aside. So I did that. Step 2 is getting out of debt. That's what I did for 10 months, was working on that $87,000 debt. So I paid it off. Step 3 is having a fully funded emergency. Sid mentioned is 3 to 6 months of your bills. So you take all your bills, and if you have a job that is consistent and it's a job that you're not going to get fired from it, you can have it 3 months. But if your job is not consistent, like you own a business or it's a job that you might be let go anytime, make sure you have at least 6 months of your emergency to put in emergency fund. That's baby step 3. Baby step 4 is having your retirement funded. So he mentioned this earlier, and I was taught that it has to be, at least 15% of your income has to be put aside for retirement, whether it's for your 401k, your IRA, all that stuff. So at least 15% of your income, put it away. I'm doing that as well. I've been doing that since 2012 when my advisor told me that I need to do that. So I've been doing that. Baby step 5 is paying for your children's college. Okay, and that's the 529 that Sid talked about, having a college fund for your children. So when I first joined the Army, my daughter was 7 years old. And that was actually the first thing I did, was setting up a college fund for her. Now she's in university, she's 19, her school is paid for. I've been saving for it since she was 7. Okay, so that's the step 5. Step 6, step 6 is paying off your house. I have a house that I bought since I was 23, and I tell you guys, it's going to be paid off this year. October of this year, my house is going to be paid for. Okay, that's baby step 6. Baby step 7 is building wealth, and you just build wealth either to give, you build wealth to travel, you build wealth that you can enjoy your life. I'm hoping by next year, that's where I'm going to be, is building wealth. And I want to build wealth because I want to do mission work. I want to go work for the UN. I want to go work for Doctors Without Borders. I want to go travel and serve. I'm a server by heart, and that's something I want to do. So that's my goal, why I want to build wealth, pay off my debt. My reason for paying off my house is so that I can travel and enjoy my life and do what I really love to do, which is service. So those are the 7 baby steps. And anybody that wants to build wealth can do it. It's just really a mindset. It's a mindset that you have to change your mind. You have to want to do it. You have to look for people that can help you do it. Like this program, you know, people are not going to come to you and going to say, hey, I want to teach you about how to build wealth. But if you go out and find people, there are people that will teach you. Okay, people will teach you, and people love to teach other people. So those are the baby 7 steps. Now, one of the things that I've been doing also is teaching about how to get out of debt. So when I wrote it on my vision board that I want to share my debt-free journey with the world, I also believe that it would happen. So what I did without even knowing is I went on the Dave Ramsey Baby Stepper page, and I share my story. I told them where I come from. You know, I'm from a refugees camp. I came to America when I was 14. I joined the Army. I got discharged due to PTSD. But this was what I have done in Financial Peace University, and how I paid off $87,000 in 10 months during COVID. So within 2 days, there was over 10,000 people liked the page. There was a lot of 1,000 comments. So the Dave Ramsey group reached out to me and say, hey, Nyajuok, we really love your story, and we want to know if you would like to share it with some of the newscasts. I said, okay, I would love to share my story with the news. So within, it took some time. Within few months, I got the ABC calling me. I got CNBC calling me. I got the Ipswich Times calling me. Good morning, want to do my story. So what happened? I got to share my story with the world. Again, it goes back to the vision board. It goes back to, because I wrote it down, because I want to do it, because I believe in it, and the universe and the God made it happen, So anybody that wants to be debt-free can be debt-free, if they really believe that they can. Anybody that want to build wealth can build wealth. It doesn't matter. We all came from a place where we didn't know any of these things. But do you really want to? Do you want to know? Because if you want to know, there are people that will teach you. But you got to believe it for yourself. You got to want to do it, and then you go out and find people that are already doing it, or people that have done it, and they will help you get there. That's what I've done. A lot of my friends right now are debt-free. They paying houses. They building wealth. And that was intentional. I did that intentionally because that's where I want to go. So I surround myself with people that are doing that, have already done that. Otherwise, you can't be around the same people and expect to grow. You can't grow. So you have to change your environment. So I will take question now.
Wow, that's a word.
Excellent job.
Amazing. Wow, Nyajuok.
Inspiring.
Very, very inspiring. So with the 7 baby step, did you learn this from the book or from the financial advisor? How did you come to this?
So when I had the financial advisor, it was actually, I was at work, and I was working on my budget, and it was on paper. This was 2012. I was working on my budget on a paper. And one of my he's a medical aid. He came to me and he said, "You like doing budget?" I said, "Yes, I love doing budget." He said, "I have an advisor. You should go see him." So he referred me to his advisor. So his advisor took me from, he did my risk assessment. Talking about money is very personal, and it's hard for Sid to make it individual without having to do this risk assessment, without not knowing your financial standard or statement. So that's why it has to be generalized. So when he did my financial analysis, he figured out that I'm very high risk taker, and he knew that I want to build wealth and I want to be aggressive with it. So he set me up just like that. He got me with insurance. He got me doing my short-term and short-term investment. He's like, "What do you want to do in 10 years, 5 years, 10 years?" I said, "I want to travel." So he set that account up for me, and I was putting money in there. So I didn't learn the steps until the Financial Peace University with Dave Ramsey, and that was in 2019. That's when I learned the 7 baby steps. But you know what? I was doing some of those without knowing that I was doing them. Okay. So it was just something that put it in paper, it organized it for me, and I can visualize it, I can see it, and it was easier for me to call me to say, okay, I'm on baby step 5, check, baby step 6, check. So it was easier.
Nyajuok, the most important thing you did is you wrote it down, and that puts it in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
That causes things to happen that people just don't understand.
No.
You have to write it down. That's a commitment. See, if it just stays up here, it's not a goal.
Mm-hmm.
You put it on paper, it becomes a goal. Okay? Best thing you could ever do.
Yeah, and I didn't learn that out of nowhere. Somebody taught me that too. You know, somebody taught me that. I'm a nurse by trade, right? I've been a nurse for almost 11 years, but I also have side businesses. I'm in real estate, so I real estate investment. I also have home-based businesses. So I have people that have entrepreneurial mind shift that teach me all these things that I have to write it down, you know? So I write all my goals down and I see them everywhere, you know? So I believe in that. I believe in writing.
Before I'm going to give opportunity to the rest of the team. With us here is David Bulmanyk. He's the community leader. He's the one who put all these teams together. This is one of the components for the community. The first time when he came to be a leader, he organized based on discipline. We have a medical team, which is medical core. We have economic core. We have engineers. We have agriculture. All of these are set, and they're working on their discipline to try to raise awareness and try to help the community. I'm just trying to give you an insight. If he has any question later on, or he's going to give you some sort of appreciation, that will come. But before I go there, I want to come back to Nyajuok. With your girlfriend, who told you that you're good with this, but you just not organized and you need to, what did you tell her? And what can she say today?
I think she's very proud of me. I would think she's probably like mind blown on how far I took this. She probably didn't expect that it's going to go this far, this fast. But she knew me very well. This is my best friend. We were known as, you know, sister in the community. When I joined the Army, I talked her in joining the Army. She ended up joining Air Force. No hard feelings, but she knew me financially. You know, when I started my business, I called her up and I said, "This is a good business." And she said, "If you're doing it, you like money." She said, "You like money. If you're doing it, it must be good money. I'm going to do it too." So, she knew me, and I didn't argue with her. I didn't try to tell her no. I didn't try to think that she knows better. I wanted to check it out for myself. And when I checked it out for myself, it turned out to be a very great advice. And I'm very grateful for her for sending me that way. Yeah, I probably would still think that my dad is a good dad if I didn't take that class. But, you know, Dave Ramsey will tell you there is no good dad.
Okay. So your goals are pretty much accomplished. Your emergency fund, starting with 1,000 or whatever you can afford, getting out of debt, you are out of debt. Unless something is still out there that you want to accomplish, that you want to go back to it again. Emergency fund, like plan of full emergency for 6 months. I'm sure you are in that process as well. You already accomplished that. Same thing with retirement. That I believe is in place with college fund for your kids. This is quite amazing. And your house is going to be paid off this year or next year. Did I hear that right? And you are on the road to building wealth.
Yep.
Wow. Gentlemen,
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And Nyajuok, thank you. Go ahead and ask your question of the interest and what you've learned from her.
Nyajuok, thank you so much. This is very inspiring. So good to hear your story, and thank you for being with us today. I think a lot of our community members will really learn from you and how to budget, because there are credit cards out there, and people think this piece of, cards that you get is just for you to go and swipe away, and you don't worry about paying it, but you have to pay it. And when you have to pay it, you have to pay it back with interest. And sometimes it is extremely high, depending on which bank you bank with. And so this is a really learning story for a lot of us. When you write your stuff down, they said when you just think about it, okay, this is what I want to do, and you don't write it down, it's not really, it's just an idea. But an idea that is not on the paper, it cannot take you anywhere. So what you have done is really amazing. How are you of your mortgage in next year? What do you do to get to that? What are the steps? Do you pay your mortgage like the whatever amount? Do you pay it twice a month? Do you double the amount? Do you do every 2 weeks? What is your process?
So I love budgeting, right? So of course, every 2 weeks before the next month, I budget for that month. Like right now, my budget for April is complete. And because I believe in the universe making things happen, I usually, when it comes to my mortgage, I budget more than what I should. Like my mortgage right now, the payment on my mortgage, the Army, I'm a veteran now. I don't pay taxes on my mortgage. So my mortgage payment is about $1,300 a month. So I know that has to be paid, right? It's a must. But I was so used to paying at least $2,000 on my mortgage every month. But now because I'm in the process of paying it off early. So what I did at the beginning, because this was a goal that I set in October of last year. So I just took my whole mortgage balance and divided by 12 months. And that was how much I know I had to pay every month. That's the minimum I knew I had to pay every month to pay it off in 12 months. But I add additional because I would go and pay my bills, and I'm blessed to have extra money because I don't have any other bills. Keep in mind, when you don't have any other debt, you find money. Like you have money. It's just because they go on paying off debt. Because I don't have any debt, I usually end up with more money after I categorize them. So I throw all of that in my interest and my principal. So I pay what is required, and the rest it goes to my principal. So sometimes I end up paying like a lot of money, but it's because I want to pay that mortgage off. So yeah, it's allocated on my budget, and any money that left over, I put it there. But remember, I'm already investing in my retirement account. And all of that is already included in my budget as well. So budgeting, you got to have a budget. You got to budget every day.
So being thank you. That is so true. If you don't have a budget, you cannot really go anywhere. And you have to, when you are budgeting, you have to do, people get paid on the 30th and the 15th. And so what bill do you pay there from the 30th to the 15th? And then you go from the 15th to the 30th. What are the other bills? And then budget from there. And like Sid said, pay yourself first. This is what my savings. Being that you are a South Sudanese woman, we love material stuff. We love to buy big old couches and shining stuff that costs about $5,000 to $7,000 to $10,000. We love to decorate our house. How are you fighting with that temptation? How did you change your mind from not just decorating your house and spending all of your money and expensive stuff?
That's a great question. I like that.
Well, first of all, I'm not that type of woman. I've never been a materialistic person, and so I still have the same couches I bought in 2009. Okay, still have the same couch. It's the same house, the same couches. That's one. And two, I learned to know the difference between liability and an asset. So I know which one will make me more money later and which one is depreciating. That's second. Third, I'm not in the community where I have to impress my auntie or my uncle, or I'm not in the community where people are going to come to my house and I have to worry about what food and meat are going to be on my couch. I don't live in the community, right? So that's also help. But I don't think that's as important, because even my mom sometimes bring me things when she come to my house, and I never put them on my couches. It never, it's just not my thing. I get excited when I put more money in my retirement. I get more excited when I save money. I get more excited when I give money. I don't get excited when I spend money. I'm just not a spender. So I'm not into impressing the Jonases. So let's just say that.
You're not with
The Jonases are broke too.
Okay, so there's a question here in the screen. You want me to read it out, or do you read it?
Okay, so Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Sid talked about this earlier, like 2 ways to build wealth. One of them is paying yourself first. And paying yourself first really is having your money goes to your retirement or your long-term mutual funds before they come home, and then adjusting your life to what's come home. That's paying yourself first. Or another way that you do is by budgeting. I read Millionaire Next Door, and it talks, and these were like first-generation millionaires. And I'm working on becoming a first-generation millionaire. And one of the things they talked about is that 80% of those millionaires, they use budgeting. They didn't get to that level without budgeting their money. And budgeting is really telling your money where they go, right? So you tell your money, I want you to go to retirement. I want you to go to this, instead of just going. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, I love that book because it will really teach you about, investment. And it's not just real estate. So I'm still doing flipping. I'm doing the fix and flip. I'm not to where I'm holding yet. I'm hoping to get there soon. I'm going to start with my house to being a rental property, my current residential. But the places I'm saving in, I had an advisor, right? My advisor was really big on doing the long-term investments, like the 401k, having this mindset that this is a long term. This is not something I'm going to pull out in 10 years or 15 years. This is when I'm 60. So that's where most of my money been going, is that retirement. And also having a different account that if I want to travel 5 years from now, I would have an account that I can use from that account. So that's where I've been investing my money a lot. I have that long-term mindset. So right now, there's new cryptocurrencies. So I'm also, adventuring into that. So we'll see.
The South Device question out there.
Okay.
What can you say to South Sudanese ladies out there?
I think Southern Sudanese ladies need to stop with this housing things, like really just fixing their houses and buying new things every tax season. Like, come on, First of all, nobody really cares. Those couches are so hard to sit on. Like, they're not even worth $5,000. Okay, they're not even worth $5,000. But if they could see what would happen to their $5,000 5 years, 10 years from now, they would not want to put it on a couch or buy a new couch, because in 5 to 10 years, that $5,000 might be close to $10,000, and your couch will be in the garbage in 5, 10 years. It don't even make it to 10 years. So I would tell them it's not the most important thing. The friend that you are trying to impress, she's trying to impress somebody else. She doesn't even care about you impressing her. She's impressing somebody else. This is a cycle that will just keep going forever. And just rather, if you don't want to invest for your own retirement, invest for your children's education. That's more important than couches and all these colorful things we put on the walls, So I would tell them, stop it, stop doing that, stop sending money. I would even talk about African friends and families in Africa, but that's not the topic. That's a topic for a different day. But it's not worth it, especially young women like myself, they shouldn't be doing that,
So in another word, you're saying that serve first and spend last.
You say that again?
Serve first and spend last.
Yeah. You know, ask yourself, like I would say, every time you go purchase something, ask yourself 2 questions. This is something I was taught very early in my career. Ask yourself, say, is this a want or is it a need? I know the difference between a want and a need. If you say, okay, there's few things that are needs. There's not a lot of things that are need. A lot of things are want. And if something is a want, do yourself a favor and remove yourself from it. Go back home and just leave it alone. If you can't leave it alone, then budget for it. Okay, save a little bit by it this month, save a little bit next month, and then give yourself in 5 months or 6 months, I'm gonna buy this, but slowly save up for it. Don't take something from somewhere else and put it on this just because you saw it today and it looked nice, you know? Like plan for something that you want.
So there is a question here on the screen. Somebody asked, want to know how did you deal with your situation when you were getting out of the army, you're getting discharged, you're going through personal divorce and children at home while you were in the army. How did you deal with that?
That's a very difficult question and very personal question because I didn't deal with it well. I honestly did not. I felt like my 2018, 2019 was probably one of the toughest part in my life because I feel like everything was failing all at once. I was losing my career that I had built for a long time. I was losing my marriage that I cared for very much. And I was going through physical and mental challenges. It was very, very difficult. I was even like admitted in the hospital for suicide ideation. Nobody would see it now because in a year, something can change so much. I look happy now and I'm truly happy. But if you see me in 2019, 2018, I was in a very dark place. So one of the things I was grateful for was the Army therapy sessions. They put me in therapy for 12 weeks. I was going to therapy Monday to Friday for 12 weeks. And the therapy really saved my life. I had to talk to somebody about my marriage, about what I was thinking, about what was going on. But at the same time, I come home and I go to work and I take care of my kids and I cry on my way to work every day. It was hard, but I was living one day at a time, just one day at a time. And one day turned into a year and now I'm happy again. I will tell you guys, paying off that debt, that $87,000 that I set, it was a personal goal. And when I reached that, there was something that happened. It gave me my self-esteem back. It really empowered me to know that, okay, I am Nyajuok again, because I was in my marriage and I depended on my husband and I felt like my life is never going to be the same if he's not with me. But when I accomplished that goal, I realized I'm still powerful. I can still do me. I can still reach my goals. I can still be well, you know? So I would say, you know, setting a personal goal so high that you have to work hard to achieve it. And when you achieve that goal, it will empower you and it will encourage you and it will make you feel like, okay, you know, you are somebody and you can do it. And that alone helped me a whole lot than I can say.
Great. Anything, guys? Back to you.
Wow. I'm just gonna. Is it me, James? Caught.
Any of you?
Oh,
yeah.
Well, thank you, Nyajuok. And this story is very inspiring. I actually read your story, and I'm looking forward to reading your book, your upcoming book, because you know, the thing that makes your story very inspiring is the fact that you're like nothing against like someone like, you know, Sidney. You had a structure, you had family that, you know, taught you certain things. Majority of us didn't have, you know, some of the things that we're dealing with now. And so for someone like you, being that you're a woman, you're a mother, you're now a single mom, the things that you have done are quite amazing. I don't even think there are words to describe, you know, your story. So I just wanted to put that out there for you. The thing that I also want to, I guess, I don't know if you could comment on it, is there is this myth about hard work, right? which is great. The harder you work, the more successful you become. But then, some of our people in our community, they are that hardworking people. They work 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs. And at the end of the day, especially if they're working on their, W-2, they look at their statement at the end of the year. They've made all this money and there's nothing. So it kind of like gave me this idea of like, okay, even the harder you work, you may not be able to, to get to where you are if you don't have a structure, if you're not making your money work for you, right? So it's not so much about how much you make, which goes back to the budgeting thing and what Sidney talked about earlier. It's more about, how are you managing your money and where are you putting your money to, So I can't talk about like investing, because I'm not a financial broker. I can't really like advise people on it, but I do know, investing and how some of us are like not so well aware, maybe a lack of, confidence to be able to like, okay, you have this idea of like money, there's an emotional aspect to money. So, either you invest your money, you may lose it today. But if you project yourself, especially someone that have kids, you're looking at 10, 15 years down the road. So I guess my question is, what can you tell some of us is, okay, you work hard, you did all this work, but it's more like projecting into the future about how, whatever it is that you have, putting that $1 away. What can you tell some of us to be able to like, given that you're one of us, and you've done it, you have real estate, you're paying off your house, and you have things that you're going to do. So what is there something, a parting ways, something, a word that you can tell us about what you did?
It's really a mindset and looking at retirement in a certain way, because most of us think that we're either 1, never going to retire, or 2, we're going to retire in Africa. So we really don't plan to retire here and plan for it, which is just crazy, because most of us are here 20 years, 30 years, and we're still here, right? So we have to plan for retirement. So what I would say is change that mindset. Think about it, like Sudanese people, we look at now, we look at now, we don't look at tomorrow or the next day, because we have this thing that we might not be there tomorrow or the next day. Why should I plan for that, or blah, blah, blah. But it's just like the car insurance or the house insurance. We pay for car insurance and we believe in car insurance, but we do it because the government or the laws say we have to do it. So it's the same thing, like look at you're going to retire. God say you are living, that long, you're going to retire. So what I would say is the average in the stock market, and Sid can correct me, or all of you that are in finances, is at least 12% a year, right, in return. So 12% a year, put your money away, 12% every year, 12% every year. They will increase and they compound over time. I can tell you right now, I'm 37, I'm 36. I started investing when I was 27. It was a different, like, it's been 10 years now, right? It's been 10 years since I've been investing. And when I look at my investment accounts, I can literally like retire right now and go anywhere and go live anywhere I want to go live without having to clock in. But 10 years ago when I started, and I'm very aggressive, right? I said I was very aggressive in investment, and I always want to invest. But that was my mindset, is that I want to leave. I want to go do whatever I want to do without having to work. And this is the way that I was told to do it. So for our people, look at your life 15 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. What do you want to do? And how are you going to get there? You're going to work forever. Because some, like my parents been here for 22 years. They still working. I can tell you they cannot quit their job right now and still be well. I would have to take care of them, or one of my siblings would have to take care of them. But if they have invested 20 years ago, they probably would be so close to like just sitting on their couch right now, right? And do nothing. And that's what, especially the young generations, I want them to have that mindset and to understand that, your money will compound over time if you start putting $10 away right now. Just start putting it started. Maybe increase it Start with 15% and increase it by percent every year. Increase, and that's what I teach my daughter. You know, you asked a really good question earlier, like how do we teach our kids? You teach them by example. You teach them by what you do every day. And what what you say when they ask you, I want new shoes. How do you reply to that? You know, do you tell them, well, we have money, but you know what? If we don't put them on your college funds, you're going to have to, you know, get a scholarship or have loans. Would you rather like put them on college fund or go buy shoes? You know, like teach them these things, you know? So it's a mindset, and we have to change our mindset in the way we look at retirement account and savings.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
All you have to do is look at Nyajuok and understand her attitude. Her attitude is everything. She calls it mindset. I call it attitude. How you look at where you're going to go is the most important thing. And James, you had a question about money. Well, there's two things. There's two ways to make money. It's people at work or money at work. Which do you want to do? So what she has decided is money is going to work for her. She's not always going to be working for money. And it's her attitude. She has adjusted her attitude as one that money is now going to work for her. She just figured out how to do it quickly. Most people don't do it as fast as she has. So it's one of these things. It's a breath of fresh air to have someone like this, especially from your community. You know, I'm an outsider looking in, and you know what I'm picking up is attitude is the most important thing you can have if you're trying to do better and better and better. Just my 2 cents.
Thank you.
All right. Wow. Our community and South Sudanese in general, all I can say this evening is wow. The two people we have here this evening, if you cannot pick up anything from Sid and from our sister Nyajuok, then I don't know when you ever going to pick up something that can benefit you. I don't know, because I actually sit here and kind of relax, because when Phillips started it, and then the way Nyajuok present everything, I could not be proud as South Sudanese from someone like you, our own sister, and your attitude. God bless you. And I'm very sure you're coming here tonight should change our people. Honestly speaking, it should change me. It should change our people out there about how we view the money, the mindset about money. We should detach this idea of, oh, we used to be farmers, we used to be cattle keepers. We should have detached that a long time ago. We cannot continue dwelling on that and be an excuse. It was not your excuse, was it? No. Your excuse was you need to change your attitude about everything. And you did it. You did it in a very short period. Kudos to you, my sister. And God bless you. I actually do not have a question for you, because my sister, Apajo, has most of the very difficult questions for our community, or on behalf of our community, or on behalf of our team. My brother, asked question. Phillips add some thing to it, and my brother Dow add some question. For me, I just want to give both of you a thank you. What, especially our own, nothing against you, my friend, Mr. Phillips. You said it. You are an outsider looking in, but you really have us something that will benefit us for a long time, and if we follow it, because everything that you talk about, Nyajuok actually already did it in practical. She put it to use. How can, isn't that what we want? You know, you have someone telling us this is what you want to do, and you have someone who have, isn't that what we want as a community, our people? Isn't that what we want? The way I look at it, that's what we want. Someone giving us an idea and someone that had already put that idea into use. Please, I hope you all have taken something out of this true presentation tonight. And this is what our community is all about. It's to benefit from one another. And we could not benefit more from our own sister tonight. So thank you. I don't have any personal question. If there is something I will add at the end in our own language, I will do that. But mine is just a general thank you to both of you. We really love having you here tonight, and we will not hesitate to ask you again to come on. Since you have signed on, our connection will never end here. We'll continue on like I said in other avenue. And so thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you and continue doing that job. Phillips and my sister continue inspiring us to speak. We have seen you in other news outlets. Continue that, and our people will benefit from you tremendously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Benyatim. Before we let you go, Sid and Nyajuok, I'm going to invite our community leader, Lualbul, to give you has the word of encouragement and to greet you for what you deliver to our community. This is not just only to the Teach community, it's to the South Sudanese across the world in the diaspora. So we have so many avenues and so many things that we've learned tonight. Its structure is one of them. And under structure is budgeting. Budgeting is limit spending and goal. Setting goal is what make all of this happen. From Nyajuok, she's a good example. Sid has gave us an insight about what financial background look like, how we can build wealth and all of that. Thank you so very much, guys. We are very grateful to have you. But like Tim was saying, the team leader, this is going to be a beginning of the path that we're going to walk through. It might be a different topic tomorrow. We want to learn about money, and we want to take this idea out that we are living tomorrow, no retirement or no fund set aside. All of that is not going to sit well with us. And you've set a very good example. Now you are on your final stage of building wealth. So thank you so very much. What I will do, Lual will close it, and Tim and his team will remain to explore the rest that we did not touch for 15 minutes or so before we close the show. And if you have anything said that you want to add, you can go ahead, and Nyajuok will say something, and Lual will close, and then you can remain, and Lual will come to give word of it.
I'll say this, and then because I can talk for hours and hours on these subjects. I love it, and I enjoy educating people. But following what he said is, this is great information. You got some great information from both of us tonight, I think. And I don't mean to brag on myself, but I think it's good information. It's basic information. All you have to do is take the next step. You have to take the step. We can't take that step for you. Neither one of us can. So is it raising your hand and saying, hey, I need help? No one's going to think bad of you. We all have needed help in the past. We all will reach out and give you a helping hand. So it's great to be part of the group tonight. I really appreciate the invitation. It's been fun. I've learned a lot. Y'all are a great group of people. If I can help in any way now and in the future, just let me know. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Sid, I have a question for you, close. If I want to reach out to you, what is the way I can reach out? If I want to call you, what is the way I can reach out? Can I call you using your Facebook? What are the ways I can reach to you if I want to talk to you?
I'm on Facebook.
Somebody else.
I'm on Facebook. Apachuk actually called me through Messenger. And I said, well, that's the first time a client's called me through Messenger. So it doesn't matter. If you wrote down my email address, you can always email me. You can call me on the phone. There was some contact information there. It's however, they have my contact information. So whatever way you want to contact me, it's up to you. It's one of these things that, hey, I have time. Most times I have time. But just feel free to reach out and ask questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any last word? Nyajuok, I'm with you.
Oh,
Any last word of advice you want to give before the community leader close?
Well, I just want to say you guys are doing a really good job educating our community. It's not going to be everybody that's ready to take this advice or take this information, but there will be few people that will learn from this. And as you change one life, you change 2, 3, 4. So I think this is great information. I am on Facebook, Nyajuok Tongyik, that's my Facebook name. And I do teach this class using the Dave Ramsey system, baby 7 baby steps. So even if anybody want to take that class, feel free to reach out to me, and I can organize another one. We just finished one 2 weeks ago. This is a 9 weeks class. You would have to join the Zoom once a week for 9 weeks. But I'm available, and I'm here to teach and help if I can. So I don't have anything to just thank you for having me. I absolutely love talking about this because I think it matters. Talking about financial literacy matters. So
I have a question for you, Nyajuok. Sorry, you guys, but it's one last question, and then I'll let you go. Promise. I'm not gonna Can you tell us if there's anything you're working on now? Are you, besides paying off your debts, what are the other things you're working on? I heard like there's a book or something.
So James mentioned that earlier.
Where do we get it if we want it?
So yes, I am working on a project. It's been a project in the work for over a year now. I have written a book, and there is a chapter about finances. And I talked about in there, it's about my life. I talked about like from Upper Nile, how I got to refugees camp. I had arranged marriage when I was 14 here in America. I talked about that experience as well. My military life, I talked about that. And currently, like what happened in the last 3 years with my current marriage. So it's really, it's a memoir about me, but mainly it's about how I got to where I am. As you guys learn a little bit, I have accomplished few accomplishments in my life. And as a Southern Sudanese woman, we don't have a lot of those people leading for our ladies. So I wanted to share my life for our community, but also there's like some lessons just being a woman and some of the things we struggle with as women. So it's in that book. And one of the chapters that I really love, it's called How I Got Here, and it talks about my mindset. It talks about my vision board. It talks about having a mentor, mentorship. And that book will be released May 1st, this May. So more information to come on it. It will be out, and everybody can get their copies. And I'm pretty sure y'all love it. So there's peace in it for everybody. So thank you for asking that. But that is my big next project besides paying off my house. So
can you also tell us where it will be sold?
It's mostly probably going to be on Amazon.
Okay, good.
It's going to be on Amazon. So the ebook is the one that's coming up May 1st. And then we're going to be working on the hard copy. And the hard copy is probably going to be out sometime in the summer, like June or July. But the ebook is already prepared to be released on May 1st, and it's going to be through Amazon. So the name of the book is called I Am My Mother's Wildest Dream. As we know, some of the things that our parents went through, and the fact that I am where I am, and my mother, probably never imagined that I could be a captain of the United States Army, a registered nurse with a master's degree, and doing very well, living American dream. So that's the title of the book. It's I Am My Mother's Wildest Dream. It's coming out soon.
That's great.
Kudos to you. Is your mother here?
My mother is in Nebraska. My mom and dad.
She's going to be a proud mother, and she's already.
She want me to translate the whole book in Nuer.
Okay, that'd be great. Please do. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to invite Banylual, and Banylual will give you the word of appreciation. Then it will be your choice whether to remain or exit. And then Tim and his team will explore few questions in Dinka to let those who doesn't know the language know what we talk about. Thank you, guys. Lual?
All right. Thank you, Simon. It's really wonderful. First of all, I would like to give a special thanks to Nyajuok, Tongyik, and Phillips and economic team. Thank you so much. You did a lot. I can't even get enough of it. Maybe we've been here for more than 2 hours, maybe. I can't track of that. And I've been paying attention to every single thing that you guys said. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming to TTB. Thank you for accepting our invitation. This connection was made by our tree leadership through Professor Atema Kechaluel, James K, and Pajok Dao Deng. And it is basically beneficial to all the Sassanese or to the people who are watching the program. I hope they will utilize all everything that they said. So I'm not going to hold you that long. Thank you so much. We benefit from your presentation. I hope you will come back next time if you get our second invitation. And I am very sure people would like to hear from you next time. So thank you so much, Simon. Thank you, everybody. People who are watching out there, it's really good. Alone we are smart, but when we come together, we become brilliant. That's what I would say. Have a great Saturday evening, everybody who is watching. Thank you so much. I'm very late. I'm so happy. You guys have a place in our hearts. What you have done tonight, we appreciate it. So Simon, I'm not going to say anything. Maybe I will make a few comments in Dinka. Other than that, thank you so much.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I thought Bandol will Pachi Kwajal.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's fine.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, guys. Back to the previous position. Thank you, everyone. Sid, thank you so much. Nyajuok, please be available when we come back to you. It won't be very long. We would love to hear from you again. Same to you, Sid. Thank you. We'll be always looking out for you guys to invite you so you can educate us. This is going to be a continuation of what we do. Thank you so much. Have a good night. We shall meet again. Okay. Pane tui we jiping te nong koi kwon koi lwela di tong da koi ko wo koi ke i chi lwela di.
Ache koi ke nyang ai koi ke teng mi koi mi ni te ache nyang.
Economic.
Maybe some people.
Nyang aliutin. I have a joke. Correct.
I don't have a better word. So. Eteng mi tapet. Ye koi pa joke.
Tong jeng aja dah sen. Aywa.
Na ye long chen ni tiwan ku kwen tia ka wo ga le yin ma kya so but chen de.
I ko
ni ti de ben ka nga te tin apet.
Okay. Koi ka sandu.
Ayen ke karba le ke tin ko ku ba ga jal jam we team Simon in chale ku Professor Atma K Sister Pajok Dowding, James K, Waichului Lui, Elon Pietaret, Yang Kadiana de Kalua, Eloi Piet Queen Cake when you wake. And a second round, can Ben Chow Ben. We community and I attack a penguin man at the key and I walk a car magic a pit of Kai work a catch you walk a bentin. I had a very good conversation this morning about this. Can you come another Ben? Walk a Chenanga community briefing. Jalka jam kichirkana. It's been Benny money and be quite a worry and no one might think I. We're quite a worry waiting a mic a gaka non technique Chicago will win a kilul cake. They are sound kind of tedious among some of us. But I don't quite a date. I can not can cook a book of the early. To non in work one by. I did so many things. Quite Jake away, maybe sister Pajok and I live a long thing, I live a knee code, but quite Jake away a big knee. To nanging work war by. For example, it takes a lot of technique I can back but there. Yes, I might me a lakin, a tongue war, you quite working the Nyajuok, I have a non technique a low. Number one, and that nanging work, no Jake you or ton. Ton Pieton, chatting to pay. Or backward won't talk on Pietin. I can getting a wing, a wing, at a catch wing, tin t'other wing. Chinom chill no, Yerakadi, Kajuka Kaigating, I can now hold you, a pet bada woe too. A pet bada woe pet the neum da catch a car like it. A pet banang Kakaka de Kaiwa. The key walk to talk at the main in the baton watch, and will around on ton, I air with the change because that on. Ka walk at that bank could be a one thing around the canoe, a technique the rani, around the canoe, the ton of your dow, younger book a walk in the problem. In Rani, you keep tongue around the ton. Maybe I live a key, I live at my wound, I live a wound pay, a technique around Quabanango. Walk with Chica Bay war at the wing the go for example, can jing and the walk a pay. I live a wing. When the go chwal tong jeng nong go ram ada tunga kon wa te chena kon nok ada biag de ne to tungi aye kana e dom ku wai piu ku gu pen wen ko wen a pyol go ku die da pet e banang wa aye ko ting kana ware ada kro ri choy gur ken wen de go chwal ya ala bi kana no ku nyop alo bi a chol ku gu pu wen ko wen a pyol ai technique banang wa I think one by I very normal, but I later on Chema walk a thing a kind of weird things. A Pianyan who could tear Kulak a thing. Go Kailanga the hope. Can I block quite one better technique big work like chat? A young lawyer. Can I be wing up a little thing? A huge like a diablo or like a Kaidio. When there are betting, a two of them better champion Tiakin or 2 o'clock hour up and in. Ka boka na durganda ku chol wen no machan ba nga beti ye demwan ka beti ye tu ye didri ka ga ngira no wok chanin chi kwar nyandu tia ka wen blo ku die dan to ko da kwero ku to kana ko abu ko ka ba ka tin to a tingal de wen di la chogria pa ba go di akura la mol ku le ban ka dom ya chan ke e tin wen tin da ko ryo ka ga ye ko chatin. So we quite a key young to go well. In the bow could the back I live a money market, I live a kakachu can live in the pure god to then when you bend for I take it with your pin with your teeth. Take a walk, I think there cook a quad big work with Tabi Denke, Kabi ka buy, but a town where lock a tongue. I book a be lock a move. I'm ya kidding. Can you have a ball? Kala ba de ke to ka gu ka pel ko we ke we ku bi ke da ko ai ran de ye wo ka to ke miur ke adom ke kuro ke kala ku kir ka nya ke chwai abi kan na rion ku bi da abi kan abu go tem nom ku bi da ran de to ke in le badara ba pur ra pare a charap ku cha ko pur ka ba ka che da ba ka che miur ka pi ko anya ke wo ke ka bia all this technique ato we ku ka chu ka ngi ku ka to non wen So there are so many ways the ban jam. Yung ye kor trong wing from thought. For example, where in to by the rani chola wer jok ye ni chol ke ketan. Chidit cha nin twen war kulelien. Other thing the one ma thought in chola wudeng ma kwena nyuon. E chola wa ton the Bulmanyk do the ton of baba ke wa. E weng por baba chen the nyan kene tia gonna biora go biora nyar. On ke wang a yen bogu je ton die. On the year wouldn't tiam. Tonu warai ben pay na kulan on chi pay riak yetong on ye ngiku go policy ban kulula yen wen chi pay in chi kudu ba lo a chi zonal commander yenga e ben yene kai kede tonu wari en to ko kai ran ben e mai inga tan tonda de tonda to be for example e dit da wore chol ma kuru ma nyong du de cha ko je ngi kuile ka ta da bi mo bior bo ngi e ton pe pay mo biodi ma kudi ku jenga de gutiel da to war pada chan bu tonu bi che dot ke kai aye de nyal ku lo nyiro ki bi che la yidro a chan a chan limit a che be ba ka bok etiel de re jeng loy wa wen ku chama ere kai yen technique so yen a chinga di le balwel in professor tamake james k pa jong dan de mo wolo kenya kenya la dore liu we chak le ignorant nga dit non koy ko ignorant e risa e bembe and the big thing is when ka wajat ka ken le ke yat ma ke who don't know how to manage money ku kuira na chen ya pet so ku le balwel we cha ke le cha pay but accord da do ku dating na man le wen ko bu pira bu ku loy man ko wara le bia bur e la to ti ngai le bare ku de ba ka chirap be ka twan the pum bu ga chi wo ku wo ti ke ku a lo bi ku wen be ku ka go lu to because you know the target you focus you need ke en kor sometimes we act wo ku chi kor ku to the web what you go I make over 50,000 and to be honest with you that cha lu tu ja ka chin dollar dot ku 50,000 I will just you know and I really don't know because of kaji kwana ke lo ku ke tu yan kin ba lu tu job this year guess what happened I don't have money and I made that over 50,000 so I'm quite educated. Thank you, Professor Tamake Kubagalotwing, Kubakadunlu, which I can lay.
Thank you.
But Larbu letting it tell
Okay.
like how did you get that? You gotta get it together. But we'll let you
Thank you.
Shukran bay. Banyatem bajola twengo team.
Okay. Bia da ko le in lo ni ngot ko loy le ko ya le cái ban loan bul actually you stole our joke. that is good, that is very good. Some of the things ka ban ka jam briefly kin ka ko ka cha ka touch so what you be jam won am du rao chok ko jam de yo ko le pya da ret chan bu ko jam Iran it's something when it's lo loy na ngen ko chi loy chi be jam mun chen lo jam long de long da ko yem kayu ka loy won ter man de won ko por rao I can different can along the way our issue I can look at one him to one in a war one wong mai or one in war apur it you wait out one him for example one rao you put them na chitem ko da berga to yong yen ko to e chan ben ka rao de mia be lo run ben chan be cho be lo na ken ko to ki no ka yin be che rao be mia ai jang lối hoàn riêng ở đây lối hoàn là chỉ coi phật cái yên cái ta cái yên cái tem ai cái doai gì là chỉ chọc chỉ bên cái con trai từ má đun cổ để là chỉ các bạn bên cả đùa doang luôn cho nên năng làm chi á there is an addition to the family cái bên at along the way nào luôn Bulwele yato yeno ko is equivalent to na yewe the bay lock it out into a rich market. Chanek lo correct be and either something gain or something but loss. Along the rawa now na chum. I change big la chil gadia. Well book la dong at your point. Big walk there. Well a chick will walk there. At the same thing. Concept again. At the same thing along the way. Now you with them. Kudwela la kana la invest or kana la tau bank it be na yen 2%. Saving it. Or a mark and the bank above court bank a yen 1% ka che enough kuma lo bank be na yen di or community credit be na yen dia yung kor e chan bu ku bi lo. The same thing one rap ku ti ko pur ti am pe ti ka chi lo. It's the same exactly concept na walk away je. So yen ga ti ne ba mar walk we really need book one him tab nya chi nyan kai da lwe won akor buka jon cho ku he ku min on bi warun ke which why now ku he ku wobla ru tire sa Sudan. That thing is not going to happen. Akor buku cho kan ben lwe la lo pi do establish it na jalo na chi ne ali jalo sa Sudan ne ku why are you refusing bala sa Sudan ke well off? Why are you denying yourself that chance? So one of topic what can you be walk jam long the budget e ki chi ku tao topic ko e ma bi da but a chi command ko chi covered when ke ko wo ke a chi cover really well yo ngo ya budget ki chol budget ko ye junu ko ye sa Sudan ta ma ko ye tui yo ngo budget en ke gon cha wel budget is simply grane ya wel na ye pedro ki ye ki betale ne sem e nya na bal e che be a bindi di duane ne game. That is in ke budget wan na wo ko ye je me dane ya ye ne tem da ma re kan a che ne be tem da man ko. That is the budget one simple language dan one in water by in ke budget na chiri ak ben ke ko wan in ko tem ko tar a che ne ko be tem ala la wan ne ta a che ne be ta ko cha lo a bal ti ni chan bran ben ne ke tin bi yo to. That is the budget in a work. So I don't know why do we make it to be difficult. Kada but a che chu ku ni yo lo ko kada a ka lo ke ka chuo dak chen ti le le ni ku wa ye jen you could trade. Kada we care so much ko especially what ko wan bo East Africa what ko wan bo tari wan ti to tari ben what ko bo ko ni ti ko gumede wo na bo man ku ti chi kada you don't want to say no but ke kar ba ja le ke run ke tiro ko you ke run chu ko no wan to woro na chong ni ya le wa mo do e mi ki yo ma che me you is saying something different you do stay you atemin ke dio yin ki lo we rawo de chi belew atem run ke tiro ben a chi ke bil a chi ke be ya tem to atem so run ke tiro cha no wan chan ke run chi ti ke na ben cha ko I have nothing against that but run ke tiro bo ko no wani akor ba ka ja ta yom ku to ku men ja be pin no ku pi de e ka ke kai next step run ke tiro ba me to and being ka retirement because run ke tiro majority of us are heading retirement e kene yene ka yiku le tonight run ke tiro ja gol now run ke tiro wan ti wo ko de kar ba mar akira but aye jeng wel yeran ko ran bro bela ko na charan ko wan run ke tiro che lo ko a cha ko e ber man e ber yera ye to we ku ja le men kai lo ku dien lo ku ke pet yin kar ba cha lo business ran ti chi na ta business e chi rot ko ci ran da bela ko ci polie na ne ko wo ko lo ka ko wan run ke tiro ke lo that is strategy ko ba geri ko ku ko brut ko duran ko ran bi ja to yet mi ko a je ben wa yi có chứ đâu vậy ta còn với cái bè nhai vậy chan men do bị chen opportunity bên ra nữa I think room bị yên ra cho coi đi ku go du ala ko lele anh chung mình nghe yin cha do ha giờ đó bè ha cái cái ngủ cái lối bên thế nụ lối nằm đi use anh đang coi chứ đi ra cha nó mà chơi mu chứ từ như thế ta watch ni mà chú cái mu chứ từ như ta rồi cho con ni về cho nó into use coi qua bên cái baby biết cái qua coi bên cái ni qua cho coi qua anh chỉ bé lò rồi tí mà bác cái phát khi anh cái car bà mà budget anh chú cái ta budget cái vấn chi nhàn cái đại chơi really I check cái duy cái book touch on the budget I check cái car bà mà budget của lo budget đã có bà ya budget is about okay yung mày dom quy yung mày spend cái này cái bên in cái lobby thì anh cái lobby where cái bên in where nhìn cái in torio chứ okay cái đu nó bên ấy cái là bé thì là lùi where là lùi in cái bên này năng cái giờ để bài chọn cái gì house hoặc là apartment về electricity về telephone về chăm để bài về các con như thế cái bên cái giờ cái cụ cho cái gật cái gì đó này đó mà 2000 cái bài về rồi tiếng nhất các cái bên mặt cái vấn đề là con trâu cái được rồi đó cái bên này con trâu các cái bên của chắc cái lối của nền cái nguồn cái đóng cái chắc là spend anh hảo và này ra nó conscious cái in broad giá một cái thình rót dùng một năng safety net đi cái vấn đề bè cô nhìn anh lên cái God forbid cái chắc cái lối này à lối cái rồi của là bật nét cái cũng mấy nhìn của lối cái à bông ngôn cao của nhớ rót cái chỉ lùi này cái bé cô cái period bán thôi cái dòng em cái trái nhiều này cái chặt cho bé cô nhớ tâm anh that is the budget nên cái kia giang luôn anyway anh chỉ giảm hết khi mà bà cái part one of topic của bên walk là tin apa giờ có anh đang cái chu cái duy cái bên walk cái giảm you guys can touch on cái này chỉ bên walk cái giảm mà covid anh đang cái duy chỉ bên cái này anh đang cái biết anh đang cái đây cái walk cái giảm is better là cũng mà chỉ là đeo anh đang cái biết cái bên nó walk cũng khả năng các ngồi cái bi có bật kể so community đã năng cái duy phía chỉ bên tin cũng cái duy phía cái bên thì còn với cái lôi ở đây cái mana jadi this ini cái purpose daya tu ko ai coi won long the Workbook có cha nhô nhìn cái bên nghe tiếng nó có đu nữa là so với bà cái cha bóc
thank you very much mobile rất là giỏi của giờ coi ping I think cái này hard talk here again nên cái some kawin really taban ku sometimes naning where maybe chiram ni I think it need to be said because what you do in America for a very long time ku ma chat temelwen wo chi developing you know we may look anime ta da kuna la ning places yeah cái ID card I still get ID you know you know I should not be ID where just the looks again but maybe my body you know let's say nala din wa kogan na ko you know these are some of the things that are low so along the ticket who got thing at the end talking all of us so khi chơi with các bạn có quái quang it's all about time money dollar token in today could we invest it today versus dollar bubble invested maybe 3 years or 5 years from today I keep on with their time so cái chỉ cái này anh phải với chỉ đột gác chẳng cái chú cái lối in the past you know we are not going với chỉ bị du chiến hoặc là twin đang cái duy chú cái lối coi quá với chỉ mình là chú cái thao school là tiếng common team mà chỉ đòi lối luôn we me chú cái khoe gọi là chú cái ai là chú and we are still doing that Iran told the tea, especially the Nengan Koi ping this conversation in South Sudan. Chirani against Kaloigu, that conversation, or Lon Kanang would be young talk. The keen Pida and Tower in the Western world, a peer white and a peer tea, a peer when a unit took. Could they are pandu? So the Chirigan I and Piali and a Changubuku, Buku road bad dog, Buku bad thing, okay. In the last 20 or so years, you were there, what have we done? Could you Louis for us? Who can Louis? Who can Louis? And how do we change that? And I think any part of this leadership can work out in. We are not expert. We can what he told you, our sister Nyajuok, that we are debt free. We're still working on our debt. I don't know about the rest of the team, but I still have student loan that I've been paying for the last 8 years. Could I have some other obligation? The key educate on some of these things again to deal with. If we don't do that because of information, and then we fail ourselves. And the common theme is a stronger community. South Sudanese in America, we will be better off. We will actually do better. Couple of book South Sudan and the book the Kina Chuku stronger to get and a lot of the things in the lawyer on it. Maybe somebody passed away and we have to go on family which is a Kiraj. They focus on building each generational wealth. It stays in the family. Kuinchi Sidney Chiluel that life insurance the idea of taboo again that now if you take a life insurance on yourself, right? No, you love yourself and you love the people your family members. I was just reading, I think a study Brookings Institution baby, I think it was like sometime last year, comparing the black wealth, now, if you look at it, the black people in America, it's $24,000. When you're thinking really network, $24,000 versus Koiger, it's like almost $200,000, $188,000. It's just on average again. So we may be immigrant, but we're black. We are part of that, statistics. So we call it the number. If we fail to maybe we should not in that situation. It's just to build on along the Kabai one and get which I great analogies. The keen, maybe people in my generation, they should also understand the language in Yaman. Because it's very important. Some other housekeeping when Chatem mentioned Abu in a little bit, but I just wanted to add on Chatem Rail. Kwamas is an opportunity. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I because my phone here so I will charge. So I bet Tycho and camera the Tongyik. What you can do a chocolate and what they can get even ban bell or train care bay jam to my preaching to my way you can get the pen at chocolate lane. Could be what tonight the miracle quite known you waiting a book awareness book by what you can quick them. Team diet, just quite queen, but I tell you, what you're queen, So I think it don't work. What the majority of us, it can work, but Mukai Africa too, we donate money here, they can call. So I tell queen, but how to use your money in get what what is so important, it don't mean, how it is important, and again, whatever Facebook Live, TV or whatever you got that important, yeah, that'll be important because you need something comfortable being in. But you know, what are the next steps? You come to walk in America. Come on to be okay benefit you can get in our when you walk or walk out, you know, what is the difference? Can bury apartment, Kubara really good. What is the difference? Park away you really good. No one you wiping yan on the jam. You know, you're going to die. Well, I 27 years old. You know, I'm proud for that. Change it good, yeah. The key in town you that to watch you good man. Okay, you know, it's so much work. It's, you know, there's good. Oh my God, what can you do? So things like that, the guy can work when you go walk, you know, go community that go kulin. Majority of work, you know, be around but it could have what you and oh yeah, now we bragging, but yeah, bragging, they're bringing stuff up. Can go be because could have what you know, a human being, if that person can do it, why not me? You know, about lawyer then. You know, when she waiting Nyan with the Jen Jam, they're very young, you know, 36 now. But I think they been a chidai okay, me. Chidai who you good. It need you good. Mandaki, you know, you could buy a house. Even though I keep traveling, but I think need that, you know, paying yourself that buying that house. You know, about mortgage and about loan, you know, pay. Because I will want I have mortgage, okay. By the time lấy nó ai when lấy giờ rồi cái nó qua cái thay mỗi cái gì nga ba cái you back versus barrier apartment cái có cái apartment như bí cái for 20 years 15 years a lo giờ này giờ để đấy chứ in fact a le cái in charge đã đủ chan ba giờ rồi thế nó a lần khi như cái này rio như pa nhà cha đời có ngã bên ku lo cái in charge ku nga wa lo pay cái nó for 15 to whatever years rồi đi nga tin chứ nga tin yok tin. But I won't do a way. But I got 6 months. Way. Need more money. So things like that. Cái quan cái work. Be on the way. Live in work community. Cái chuyện money work cái chuyện. But they do that when you know. Chăm the program bị charge smoothly. Đang ran to cái thao trên này chia ran bên là nhỏ bên tôi nghỉ. So what we but it is you know, FDIC federal insure deposit coverage too. You know, today you will put a T, you know, are they being covered? You know, need to know will get it. You know what is important chan but thing do or when do buy young it buy, you know, because it's around war brew. War you know, it's around it cold it. Kuna boko kana kabaya ready your family ready what we are saving a meal by then, you know, but man to baloi work by saving can bali but don't man to chi nyan ti na chi luen won ko chi di ra chi luen won. What is important chan than good credit, you know, your credit is who you are. So now you know good credit by then basically bang I think nobody really doesn't matter how much money you have. You know, about dang millions of dollars, but I dang bad credit, you know, really nobody, dumb banks. But I dang good credit, oh yeah, you know, you need that you are able to pay. But how do you get that good credit? You know, you through loans, you know. What are the loans when the bucket? What are the loans when the bucket baby big credit build? You know, stuff like that. So tax bracket then, you know, check up in the bind later. And then, you know, you get to the something maybe more low. But Uncle Sam, you know, quietly working hard. But we'll because I don't mean bang, but don't can eat. I go far đi ra go chơi giật bên mình the tag brackets when bangi man to win chin man ye lo claim ni chin independent cái ran chơi đi chơi Uncle Sam. But I don't way will be cái will be move will cái chuyện của bên bên đông cái gì then be Uncle Sam bây giờ nào lo lui time ya cái này bracket will be anyway, I'm did too much. So things like that you go Latina math, yeah, you know, you could tax lawyer can why we could will you could dumb cocker. So what they sorry can too much, but back to you. Maybe you have a question about the or him.
No, ke balwela ki jam chilo twenga piet chirot gola piet ku ka bengi to ku mane en ben to ka fa we community ni twi ku we ko ke non tv ku jela we jino bin ke ping to na pin nom ban ko che ping tong da ko ping wok wer akan ke chiro lweli yen ke pye ku ro man tay e buku rotmu wudi mung dro pan to wotin e banen kan ba pandu ya char pin e banen riandu e be mit ku big pira pet ku jela ko ke ye pir ko kor pir yen pir miya ka de ga jam woti ke kanon ko ko wen ke ben fa ke balwel no week na non topic ke chak ke to ka ya believe long wen chi ke ko wen tu ngel ke ka kon ku yen ke reason ya we ke be chan big community big bele ke chir ke to ran life experience man Nyajuok a chi ko ja chi ke ka lieb nyin re and she's quite aggressive on it. Tell no ran be ping a chan chi lel win a chi idea de. Enyan ma de nga chi ben jelo you know what? Yin chi organize. Kuna ye organize man ke kene de ka le ro. Yen ke wer chi be ping go le ko le ba lo di go jol lo kwer. Yen ga nong bung win chi kwen ku yen ka nong classes ke lo ma ken be piang ping. Chi ping ku lom tawali. Now she's good. Quran chi le wer a chen pio mier ko pio mier no ngen le be le ran. Same idea yen ka kun yen lwel team yen taw mane ku yen ka chiwe jam tin fa kana a great idea fa ngadi loko lopin number of coach we dropping we were above 100 kuman wajito 70 69 50 yen ka ti join we fluctuate tin fa na again ke wobne another day bi we kan bagongor ka duokatin ku bake bay te won yen te ben ko tin yen te ben to kache ke recommend when te yen te chen tiam tin yen nyan tin yen aki a structure mean what a budget a chi mo indi da che lwelwin kon rodom ku kon ka loy ku barande ba je bela yin long de e kene yen ka budget ku yen ka te chela tin nga chi nyan tin loy wen ku loy ka kon ke ba ke ngadi na ye hu che dian naro ne ngadi ne pay ka yigoi dian wen chin be ba du tu ku chi wu ku chi ga bi jar ka dia na ye wu chi nim ka ta ba i nam nai tai ku re ku dut ku ye gut ku wa chi ba la nim ko right chi yin ya okay et be li ti na no ngadi na yi chin insurance ka tambata yen ka bi yin ko chan yen ka bi less expensive mia ti no ngen ngero loy a chira ni ye le ri andu ka good ba na chilo ti le yin go jiri ai ka le la go ko insurance man bina go aje a ku yo ngobra lo ku ka chir ka je ma ka tin wen ti chen jo be tu tin ay le la emergency fund gol ne ka tin taw ga yi in case na lay off mia ka yi bungo loy bari ai ba mia chi jas ba wet ba pay ba ke pi du ba ke le ne loy ne ka tin taw ka ni yin ka ni yen ka message ku yen ga chi nyan tin wen yen ga chi loy a cha na nong da taw ka ni yin ke chiri credit ka wen interest di thousand bi yin yo tio rate ke le ba ke dom nya u di ni ko school loan al ba char pe ni run ga tiro or more ku percentage the charges a core although ya rod ngadi lu accumulate kini char pin ko lu compound interest the interest the kulwar a ber da ber jawatin ka jawro yen gala de nyala kan fa ka chirka ka ku jela yi retirement ku college de mit man tin wo chi ya ko ta war wo ji dob jalu ka yego le okay wo jero pool wo pay but mit abe alwela baba school ye chi chen ngadi an belo school lo ngo ko yinje inom ro ka dia ke ka ke ya ma ka tin fa na ye gan ku je la yi bai ku te bin malu te bin en biya chok tin fa ka chi wo ka jam tin ye ko la ku ka ya na ye de ke bier ba ro ba ke ku je ka ro ku ye ka lum ka cho ye to au ber pay der che lo ka chin ki cha be lum tin ka wu ka che lo saving kalas e ma nyanga yelwe ma nyanga ngadi a tax preparer a tax ay ka lo ka ngi how to go about that. So sometime in banyatem ale ba cha ba ko ping ba cha lwel yung how ye lo edikan
Yeah, we will
fa
do. Yeah,
businessman
manyanga.
manyanga ka.
Buku kada.
So ku ba ke jam ke ku ko win knowledge in the community fa ka jam ko tin ke a summary ko win en lo de jam da na win be spending be limit be goal be set go ku don kwan ku ga de pin che ko won jal na ta ni nom te ku ka ken lo pe ba yi ka che goal yet because ngot ka ken na kenti fa ba ka ko te jiten chan wo be se ke dia ka bu ko lo hit man in about 10 minutes ku nanong session de bu ba organize ka ke ye ko a chi le red ku ka chi ka chi ka mier pyo na tin comments winter ka ka pye na ping fa zaman di da cha be be jora ya an ji long di ga cha be be lo cha ke o kim di ku ka chi na mo ke di ku wen le lo al mung na chin ra na wen no wa na chan bi chwe impossible a chi ra de lo e yo bi aye yo kayindi but wen janno ga chan bichwer mafi achira de lo the same thing I did not go kon anon ka chi ka tul a chi ka tawo to ngi dia fa ye ne ka message a wen fa yin banya ta ma kai baka jo chuoti ko baka ting ye kno yen ba we pom ni ye na chan program do na di ku kanon ka ko lu ka mia ku buku community ko jiping ku ko dai mana buku ke be yen fursa ku bi ke ken be lo digest ku buku be du tin mia ke ye ke jidit ku buku be la twen ta yen ga my recommendation malesh chan jamare e yi ban
Attempt
I think Fonda
okay. So in my view, Taban, like you said, Ian, we are reaching on almost 3 hours now, so 9 minutes to kind of attempt. I quite you know, call but jam with the telephone off. So you can pick it up there.
And power is good by accident. Sorry.
Okay, so get your long time ago program that which kind of shorten a little bit.
Yes, I'm a bit down. Yeah, the nang ka you win the book of the two topics to capital. I think I will be working the next 10 minutes or 15 book and not. It's at tax season. Okay, the man anang stimulus to ben around 2 around 3-1. There are some information to correct or be work community book update. Some which one is correct. So James K. But been along the and some information to outside in the community there, especially work stimulus. Anang kaya kalwel kaya correct ya ka na bagala loom beneka yukon and all this kind of information to out there. So now link to the bin community that educated a little bit on that. Because now but bentin who got the book jalo ben topping along the bo to ben who come ben and meet in the next few months. Nang kati un bugala community achi rotowaga. Ayen.
Okay, thank you, Atema. In my view, I don't bet thing I took. Is that okay?
Let me mute myself today.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, mute yourself. And thank you, Atema. Yeah, the topic kind of saban is, and then thought when you were jam exactly this weekend, last year. Then this care ag one chiben can government aga can work on gum. So it's more like okay, information I check clear. And I think most people, especially na last year, or you know, or your taxes are filed this year, 2020 can return at that in Jawa Chakegio. Can I download for most people? So information is clear. long day key yen I think information that by upping, I'm pretty sure the young thing in a term it's more like we want ben let's say in no meet who cái gì này cái I think I don't know, but I think that they also are dependent at $1,400 a year, if I'm correct. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, and I caught, let's say, I just became a father last year, but I can't file. But let's say any file, you know, in the 5 years. Who managed file? Let's say 2019 one. Cái work man là bị ban tong an. Work cái chia work and court. Work cái work cái man running man can, you know. Cái chi cái này liberal cái like a confusion, but I say it literally running ra in man the file cái win support below tang running mid. Có thể win mid. The other thing yen go cái thâu out there the government or the Biden administration child tax credit used to be child tax credit at $2,000. When I think about how up to between 1,000 to 1,600, based on the age limit. Now I'm ning pay run get the term duping. Come on, now you could 1,600. I am in addition to the $2,000. I am in 66 years and up. You could see additional $1,000. We got big government, a big payment. Is supposed to come on an installment. We have been every month. We got to pay the dollar. We got to pay the dollar. We have the chicken system. We establish IRS. We got your accounting. So the same thing when you will get I told you can make a file Iran. Make sure. I don't know how to put it, but an agreement. The Iran in file. I go at Angelo because we got your work Karani and Lumet file. I will get on Lumit. Party to this is I think a study to been out there one along the learning. This idea me want to obey cái pure cái by I don't behind quite affected most I black kids or kids of color, you know. So this money I suppose big social program to me. I can work obviously you will make your own judgment based on here thing important. But the work I suppose big work me go lawyer. The other thing in I think that by mention it again. Music America, especially men 6 or 7 years old. Music out there. They know everything. So at some point I kill be made the teacher go and the kid at some point I'll be so I call very empathize around that end relationship with one another very important and make sure when you change when chan put a question when you think about talking about money a part of this issue go jam one man okay let's say now you can enough money to get out into that kid college fund to make it okay this money about 10 could talk with you you know, live as nothing happened, you know, a long day, okay, goes into going to budgeting, you know, pretend like you never got any money. So, a call back, be at a job, put on the one in a temp, you know, by joke, you will let 20 time at the court, so I'm a call time. Sorry.
Okay, Barak joke.
No, I can get it on when I have a like or I think I want car I can learn. What was so Sudanese when it comes to me, you know, I call it. And I just Louis back, you know, Louis file, can it? Kayin kind. The Hinan man went up and cái kia man kui lối ở ra rồi cái này nó ra nghĩ cái này kia lối bị cái man thôi man cái nó bala lối cái đó bala lối phải we keep kind of bad it. You know, it's up to us, so it's up to that individual. Can you made ku bata that it can man can angor cái này ran đi ran đi cái chieng angor cái you know cái gì muốn lui cái yên cái angor so na den ka bo ba den mà ne ka ti bo cái yo yo ta ite yin ran chứ mệt yin ran chứ yin mệt cái này but how ni nom ku ba luen okay cái a ka bi cái man cái này có thể you know lo individual mà ngi wo yen cái này so it's up to you yin ran cái ba gam man mệt cái den ba man mệt ka why gu ri da man da Sudanese có thể lo na you know ti cái ka lo na am la ran ne ya chok so you know, take that responsibility. Kulen ka pike ka met, ka met. Madam ya rana mi da ka do ma kadan monthly 300 to or 250 depending met age. You know, ka yin ka met, I think yin adult kana. So try ku baka yin man met without baka marken mi baka riya or worken ka mi huwa ba. You know, try baka kadang na man met di chol ka ki yin wo or cha ni che chol da do. Cái ban nhau của ba cái gam na kin cái đằng này thì giờ lên okay no một cái okay at least you have took that initiative của ba cái gam so chính thì đi đi qua là tiền cho chỉ đi anyway so buku cái đằng buku đó tao mình đang over your baby
Thank you. Nyan ka pa jo ku jo la kon deng ma jok. I think in ma biur ka call book at diet. Cứ cả bà mar ko ko long the stimulus one to ben ka one basically when na ye doing well you know ki to category one chen ko cha you stimulus you should really use it to something that benefit you either below toward your mortgage or below toward your emergency fund or below toward your child education. Actually you can break it down ke bok ye kremet chola toward college fund account ke bok ye kudu chola ke win nang ke reduce ka ke debt nangin so ka ke en ke ma ku bi na loy ti cha ne ke yo ko che ke to ke ni ne ke bok chi ne ale cha bok ko en ke cha ne ke win je benefit no which is in the bit but now you're doing okay cái lối use cái way win chi ne bo waste lối cái win bi ko nya pet ba ni kana chi ko nya pet long de cái win chi cái lối là long de cái coi win rụt quan các bạn ấy của nhà rụt cha ní mà cũng quan nhà này chứ đi lối cái lối lang còn xem in bà con cái này sẽ là con cái này chứ quên em agreement của man du là pha trên đó là pha lớn thì nó cả do cái giá là bên mình ai lọt thú wet where by any social security mà yên cái yêu yên lối này pha linh đấy yên cái lọt so Iran chứ mình là pha luôn lúc mà cái chụp bên cái mình it has nothing to do cái này to do one in pha linh lối lên đi quay to protect you against high money bank for them cái giọt nắng in so cái này it should not be cái lực tiền war community when we năng that integrity to general war the thing war gì this is something we should not even talk about. I'm not here to get about really integrity but a concept won't talk about the war so it's not something we should actually really talk about here because the nhiku the bomb me tangot ke chiêm ran ko gere dai faran din me all these about services me ban angot ke token woman so nane wona bor in it should go to Tommy so can I chin negotiation wo ko ko ma biur daw ko ko an jam tonight a chu ka le jare ka ju ka bi wa ka jam a chi ka de nane ka ti je be do neng daman ben wa ja be jam ka abu ka ja be their community da but tonight very proud the team lon ju ko loy when proud the community da I'm very sure nane to pro the goal here trên cái nhị của các bạn khi mà giá giảm là chỉ nghe theo một số này lối một số này con khói con trả nín chết tao mi abe be arande wo be la nyu ku ber la loy ku men we do not know anything what you ko cái license na chin ni
alo
Thế chứ giờ.
Chứ cái đang cái tên nó cả về being that it text. Welcome back.
Lot of your guy and you call it.
No, cái tên nó cả về that mà you know, the man tax season. Okay, the man being me to school man, you know, there are those bad guys out there. You know, cell phone because we love man now. You know, IRS I mean, kina kwa we na chi kur na chi lui complying ki be mai. You know, like that. Kuma America chi all phone it. Ku be bele kini kana kor. Abi yin gar letter with the information ku kai yin a bit cute. Ku ba information can ba lui find out kan yin asale. So the dang and koi lui kadang out there because these guys I really smart when it comes to kadang. I'll be a lot to the point where I'll be into your account and switch your money for you. So just protect yourself for the scam out there. You know, I'll be you learning you win a scholarship. Scholarship can could be toward, you know, to you won't be the to watch. But scholarship you know, and just take some of that money and then send me the rest TNE. So there's nothing out there. So just be careful. I'm question what I can lay so much.
Thank you, team.
Thank you,
team. Much appreciated. We chagalay ku community amit pure no way. Part no way we koi ke dai. Koi chipeng man ku koi be developing baden. Ka lom ke ya device. Na non ku ko nyitin ke lom. Na non ke che yi ke du lui ni yen ku choda ping ran bi yen ping. Koi ke ka che decision makers kwan we community. Ngade wo anong pande decision bi ko ni wo pande ku mi ko to ga yin. Kaya ku karometene e ki chol chi de no manano ke ye nga ting kara kana benang ke ko ni no nga ka le ye ye ne ke reason ye ne ko jam ye jam chire ke cha ka ping ta na ku wo de wo no nga ka pande tal kwindu ben to le e mu chila du kana che ka nong ran ti ye to ke ka de ku ye malagang to ne cham yom e mu chila du kana ya chicken nong ran de ti so decision aton wekin we ko ke ping ku we ko ke dai fa keto e advice ku advice aye gam biran ping be ping chiman nyan tin wen a chi nyan ma de ga chi ping a che le yi go loin dol tawali mana chi ben kai success to nongin e ka wen chi le ku ko chi ke le ni team yen tawtene ku nong ki ye tinga ko yin ka duran de be ti be ping ran ro the moment jam woten kutawi in practice be yin ko nyia na e run ko karo wala nin ko karo pe ko ka ya ko kulu be pingita au ko bala lwel ti don en bero ping tin ti man nyan tin a wona chi contact ne ngadi NBC Good Morning America and all these news organization ku ka chilo to won chi darje de pide a chi new chana che pio pol aware chi rolla jorten ka chi ba ka chi be lui ko zaru ko ka ge tinga yiri chi deng ti tu ku pide me na chi war ku ka ta ke a ji war a shana no ran chele kin le lom ko waya ku na kin liya kan yin ka malesh ti no en ka kin liya kan yin ka le ku malesh wo dia a shan ko ke yen ka lon den kan bi community advice on the financial process ke yin ka lati ka bi yin ko tin lom ki che ka du wan ku yen ka la tuen da ku jam ka chi bo por ngui na nong da duon taw ka mi da mi kwa ka mu ke wen ter ka chini stimulus check lo ipe yen bin ka ji bin ke yi ku yen bin saving ga bin le du ka la to ku jong ori lu struggle ka chi pala lu bi fa lo ka bi yin ko ka yi family ka yi owner of that family or ka yi any decision maker kan yen ga ko kor ba ke lo ku yen ga kor ba ka pin ku yen ga ko an pie yen ji yen we e ba tangdu ba jol la martin e lo son ye pie wo ne su kuli kan te kini nam tawtin ka ka won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku yen ga won ci usal wel a ci ko nya be akada ku tang di 90 ato yi kaje yenin akora rate maybe 10% or 15 kuna jola tagi ka answer ke uzamun yin ye bela ba ayi jola gwini yin raba jo dial ni jo pa yin ga ti yo opitin arabu ko jo ben ke expert chiman tawo ko ka ye ko gola ba chiman yi Bill Gates chiman yi won tin on Facebook golran ga chiran che nyoba chinnam de genius chana non nyin da chi yin ku ben jur pyo ta be ayen ki di de jur roping chiman fa ngi ja ye gam ku ka yerom we cha ka le ku nyale kan we team keep that good work ku keep that spirit going kajit abu ku loy ku community da anyar ka loy ku kamit pyo ne loy yen loy ku kien gi cha ka loy ko chiri ka gunon ko to ka mat kan we cha network cha to ka be ka more ku yen ka ala twenga ka good college classes yen ka ran la be ran no ko kulde be ka woni yen che pyoje be jobe dol le kana ka cha lo ya chi gan ko ni lo ka reality ya latin yen ke ro lo fa we community ti shukran jidan lo daga pet ku we community the monjang ping tongda ne ale kana we ku shala bu ka te ki je ko chirkan ku ko batwen bu ke be le ne lo but lom kan ke advice financial advice from our guests and the team. Thank you so very much team. Keep the good work going. Now I can wait.
Thank you, Abirda. Thank you, Wati.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Apet and chibu bela tueng arit we community ku we ko a che coach di na win ye na wo lo da laptop ku nga bi we ti nga ba jo be taw ku bu ku coach we chi dir ku wo je pengaret ku wo je pye na ka che ke lwel ka che ke le wo pa anda ga riwi na lo ye ku loy ku we ye ku ke lwel fa we like it. Thank you. Hey, na pia dien ga be a khoi da tan ki woro da device near woro near kurande betiam chimana na chatiam near brande betiam go pingo ya ka dawdi kiran ko road ku yen ga chi wo jam wele man tai shukran jiden we chukale ku nyali kana week wo bi jobe romping da ta chi nyali gwir. Have a good night. Don't tawintin na ye pinyam bak nongin ko good morning ku ba jone good day we chuku ke le we ko ke jipin ku ko ke be bela pen ano bi dana ngo wo bi jobe yon kulti nyali kana week. Good night.